against the hero. Sure, yeah, just ban it, just draft against it, but
No, change the shard. It needs to be nerfed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this hero is right.
I agree,
okay.
but that's not something, IPG can do right now, right? They just have to, they've got to play against it.
I mean, you have a good anti-Earthshaker lineup. Rubik, Clockwork, Darkseer, they're all pretty decent against him. Void Spirit does suffer a fair amount. Now with the Enigma, you have double initiation, so it makes Earthshaker even more powerful. It's tough, right? It's a good Earthshaker lineup for Hustlers right now. Good protection, good way to close them in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look here.
And good way to force the shard, right? But IPG, they don't really have enough counter initiation to really make the Earthshaker Enigma combo scared, right? And your carry right now really should be a Wraith King, unfortunately. They took out Troll and Ursa, which are the light Wraith Kings. Hell, I'd even suggest an Abba, honestly, because you need something that can survive.
From, or she is everything that Earthshaker wants to be pushing into. Earthshaker is just going to be able to stand, on his background with his shard. Just his shard alone, guys. 1,400 gold. It's going to delay the game by at least 10 minutes here. Especially because IPG, they've got the Void Spirit, and Askel plays a fantastic Void Spirit. I'm not doubting him there. But just to be able to dive this backline Shaker when you've got DP with a Silence, Disruptor to punish and catch you there, Enigma on top of that to counter-initiate if your team tries to help you. Like, it's so difficult to get up to this high ground right now if you're IPG.
That's true. And on top of that, I find that a Drow Ranger against lineups like Wraith King or maybe even Enigma to some degree, you're like, okay, they need Blink Daggers, they need to catch up to me, fair enough. I can have some counterplay to that just by playing intelligently. Also, you're really good against Death Prophet. Okay, I can see the reasoning behind that pick. But really, the Earthshaker is going to be a big hassle for you, particularly because, as you mentioned, the Shard, you just catch her with Fissure, and it's not like you're even putting yourself in danger anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be you actually had to get close to her, but with Fissure, you keep her perma-stun. You give so much of an opening for Wraith King and Enigma to counter.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, the Earthshaker combo used to be Blink, open up with the Echo Slam, Fissure, and Enchant Totem.
Exactly.
That's changed, guys, with the Shard, and that's why I think some teams are still not quite used to it. They're used to, oh, watch your spacing, watch out. They played like a lot against like an Enigma, right? Yep. And you have to change your kind of school of thought on this because he's not really an Enigma type anymore. He's your long-range initiation that can go in whenever the hell he feels like it. Yep. No longer does he have to immediately just blink Echo because he can just decide when he's going to do it, or he can decide never to do it. And that's why this hero is so goddamn strong right now.
I mean, to me, the biggest problem in the Shard is when I realized, again, that the Shard was broken in the sense that you can activate the Fissure reverberation from anywhere in the map, right? That's one of the biggest problems. Because the fact that you can just lay down a Fissure, move away from that Fissure, still enchant Totem, and continue to protect that spot, makes it impossible for you to.
Well, you'll be pleased to know then that it's even more broken on Rubik, because if he Fade Bolts, Telekinesis, or steals another spell and that Fissure's still there, he might drop for First Blood here, and he will to Magical. Nice patience there for the Hustlers. Yeah, great Fissure. If Rubik steals it and has the Shard, it's going to, any spell he casts, including Spell Steal, is going to also cast Aftershock. So, hey, it's broken, but at least it's consistent.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, I agree, but that's just more brokenness, right?
I agree. I completely agree.
It's the same way as it happens with the Morphling, unfortunately, when he buys the Shard, which is what would allow TNC to come back. But I still find that's an issue because that allows you to pretty much, like, imagine if this game, you had the Shard, but you couldn't move, or you had to be next to the Fissure, as the Shard implies, which nobody really would have guessed that it doesn't do that. So then the problem would be that, like, okay, say I Fissure the Drow comes out of her stun, she can gust me, right? She can do stuff. She doesn't have to just walk away from my Fissure and go, well, GG, I can't fight here. Like that's the problem. There's more counterplay if that was the case. And so unfortunately, this game, yeah, I'm not liking the draft too much for IP. Or I think the draft for IPG is fine, but this trial, it makes me worry a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like, and the issue is they can catch you at range here real easily. Like, I don't think Wraith King necessarily needs to go for a blink. I think he should go for a blink this game to capitalize on that Fissure. But another benefit here of having that Earthshaker Shard is that it basically gives you a secondary immediate stun that you don't have to commit for either, right? So you can still make that decision. All right, you can go, oh, hey, guys, I caught the Dro. And then it stunned her. I caught her again. Do we want to fight? Like giving you that extra time. It's crazy. It's so good.
Can we check, by the way, if it's Doha that ends up playing?
It doesn't look like it. I've seen Koval here on a couple of different teams.
Oh, okay, so it's a stand-in completely today, which we haven't gotten a message about.
I don't believe so. I don't think we're in that sort of channel here anymore. But we'll see. Let me see if I can find any info about him.
All right, well, all he does that. We apologize, guys. We used to get like, little messages when we got stand-in. It's not the case anymore, but that's why we're not really sure if it's on Doha or a stand-in. It seems like it's a stand-in because usually you just use the official name, of course.
Yeah, I think it's a stand-in.
We do know the stand-in for Hustlers, which is Watson DOTA.
Yep.
And he has played with these guys before. He plays in Totally Spies, or that was the last team he played for, where Pubber was also from, right? So he's like he's a friend of the team, and he plays a solid hero pool. I'd say he's at the same level as Lightless, more or less. You know, his hero pool is a bit different. He's not as adept at the Monkey King for sure. But
all right, so I can confirm this is a stand-in here. Koval is what he goes by. He's ranked 72 currently in the leaderboards.
Okay, known for Rubik or Spirit, stands out.
He's played. I don't recognize. I think I've
Caspian.
seen.
Oh, we have actually casted a lot of Caspian.
Yep.
Back in the Equals leagues.
That's where I recognize the name. I recognize Koval. So yeah, I mean, hey, maybe another up-and-coming player. Antoha here. I believe he's normally the IGL or the in-game leader here in the early game. So
that was the knowledge that was given to us as well. So
yeah, so that's something I'm going to be a little bit concerned about here for IPG, especially because I think you gotta do well in this early game.
I'd expect Lodon to just be able to trade easily with no fear. I'm interested in why he's playing this. Oh, he's trying to not let the. Is he trying to prevent the creep cut or? Because right now, if you're Clockwork, you see the creep cutting like that. There's no way you're fighting it, right? So you might as well just harass no fear and try to burst him down. But instead, now you get hit by Thunderstrike because you're playing so. Oh, why are you playing so with so much spacing away from the disruptor? You're melee, dude. He's gonna beat you.
Radiant's courier.
Yeah, even went for the Brown Boost to try and, minimize that issue, but not working out too well for him.
Yeah, I would totally right now be just harassing the Disruptor, battery assaulting him, hitting him, making sure he's having a bad lane.
Yep, Asgold here in the mid lane. He's doing just okay here early on versus Magical. This is one of Magical's better heroes, already up to 4 denies, so well played there. But yeah, I mean, for right now, I mean, there's not a whole lot of kill potential until we get level 6 on the Void Spirit. Maybe then if Magical's out of position, playing a little bit too loose without the Spirit Siphons, we could see a kill. Top lane, Ladon getting glimpsed all the way underneath that tier 1 tower.
His positioning in this lane has not been ideal, and I was just talking up his Clockwork a bit. But Bari in the bottom lane also struggling due to the Malefice. There's the help of the Eidolons. Nice body block by King R. Is that going to be enough? Yeah, body block allows for some more hits from the Eidolons, and that's going to guarantee the kill. King R on point, using his fat little body when he doesn't have a fat little fissure.
Yep, nicely done there. That's only going to get worse. That's maybe a taste of things to come of this Earthshaker here. And yeah, I mean, good body blocks. The Fade Bolt was a good idea. Level 1, reducing the base damage is really, really efficient, especially because you hit the Eidolons and the Enigma. It looked like maybe that was going to save the life of the Drow, but that was a little bit too hopeful. Didn't do the job. But back into the lane. Oh, they might go for another kill here onto Koval as well. Great body blocks. They're going to try and nuke through the Eidolons, but they've hit the wrong one. Koval, he's still going to be able to walk away. He's got plenty of regen here, but he's going to be zoned out very, very effectively. This is going to free up then King R to not only, of course, regain lane control, which they're going to miss, but he's probably going to be ganking mid lane then here to assist Magical versus Asgold and make sure they can get him in at 4 rune. That's of the utmost important here in this matchup.
Yeah, because if you don't win the mid lane matchup, or at least tie it if you're Void Spirit, right? Because winning it is a bit of a tall order. But say you can tie it, then you can at least create some space for your Drow. You can play a better mid game. But as it stands right now, because your core to core is okay, but the Drow seems countered by everything else in this game, and top lane is not going as well as you probably expected it to, you really need to make that mid lane yours, if anything. So at least Void Spirit can rotate earlier. That's one of the few advantages you do have, though. Death Prophet is much more static, which, by the way, they're going for the rune. And fighting Magical under the rune is a bit tough. Clockwork is not a good hero to rotate against Death Prophet because of the Spirit Siphon, but now you know she's out of charges, so they rotate the Rubik as well and try to force Magical out of lane. Not going to happen.
Yeah, aggressive plays from IPG. This top lane ideally should be going a little bit better now that we've got maybe level 4 even on the Darks here. He's probably taken the level 2 in Vacuum, as sometimes we see, but he's gone for 1-2-1 now. So with the Surge, level 2 Ion Shell, and a Clockwork with the Battery Assault and Cogs, it should be pretty easy pickings here for No Fear. If he's out of position, he's just as good as dead. With the Glimpse, I mean, yeah, they're even going to go for it. I don't know if I would dive the tower, though, but they're just looking to force out as much mana as they can. Glimpse is pretty expensive to use. You want to try and save as much mana as you can for Thunderstrike, because that's how you harass on Disruptor, as they've now pulled the wave. Watson's can't stand for this. The King being a little bit aggressive. Vacuum is going to be taking a bit of damage into the cogs. Ladon does not have enough for a battery assault, though. It's on cooldown anyway, but he's actually got a bottle here on Ladon. What?
Is that his bottle?
I think? No, it's Supernova's. Okay.
I was going to say, that'd be weird. If Ladon had a bottle, he's just going to be the bottle crowing, essentially, and healing himself up a bit. Though he did mess up one of the bottle charges in the middle of Thunderstrikes. Don't do that. Like, come on, you were definitely going to live there. Don't like, squander the thing that Supernova gave you. I mean, the lane is okay for what I would expect Wraithking versus Darkseer to be. Wraithking does have a bit of an advantage in this lane, as I mentioned in the draft, so I guess it's not too awful, but I was expecting the Clockwork matchup to be much better.
I like this ward here a lot, actually. It's a nice defensive ward for the Hustlers, mainly because this is gonna like this small area here in the trees basically is gonna be the staging area for the Darkseer Clockwork combo. If they're gonna try for a kill, they need to kind of set up double Ion Shell into Surge, and this ward is gonna let them know, hey, they're gonna go and try and kill us.
We have Wraithfire Blast setting up for the potential Surge. No, not enough. Or Glimpse, sorry. The Glimpse needs to be level 2 to really catch up to a Darkseer. Maybe this game you choose not to go for the second point connecting field. We'll see. Now Clockwork actually punishing No Fear. This is the kind of play I was expecting. Good Vacuum. Taking advantage of the cogs. No Iron Shells just yet though, but No Fear might just die to the battery assault. Supernova about to go down. So just Clockwork 4 dying, but a Thunderstrike will kill him. And I think Watson is kind of happy with his trade, honestly.
He is. Even gets the courier on top, turns around and gives a big old crit to that one. They get Koval as well down bottom. I assume that was just going to be with the fissure into a nice Malefice and plenty of damage out from the Eidolons here. I wonder how Funnick... Yeah, Funnick is also going to be going for the base Bustin build style that we like to see in the Eastern European region. That's no surprise. I think everyone's going to be following sort of General's play style, looking for just the max Eidolons into the max, probably Malefice. Yep. And then Necro 3.
A lot of people love this playstyle these days. Honestly, Enigma just kind of went from 0 to 100 in terms of pick rate. Like, he was kind of forgotten at the beginning of the season. Now people really are picking him up because they see that he's just not a walking black hole.
I just think having the ability... Oh, hold that thought. Watson, top lane, he's level 6. He does have the skill point available, mana as well, but that means he can't use a stun here.
Well, battery assault against Skeletons is doing nothing.
Absolutely not. Vacuum. They are going to... Oh, nice job. Just barely taking a level in time, actually. Supernova. Yeah, that's going to be a counter kill. Ladon with the cogs. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. Does burn a little bit of extra mana from the Wraithking, but they should have this kill. Glimpse. Oh, they don't see him.
What?
Know your trees, boys.
Man.
Rotation going bottom here from Askold now and Koval. We do have the Astral Steps ready to go, but they're actually making another aggressive play onto Rari. They could punish this.
Yeah, and they're going to do so. Funnick is the first to die with a mark, and the second one, Earthshaker easily with a multi-shot. Well played.
Perfect timing there from Askold. They couldn't have timed that any better. Rari might even be like, don't worry, guys, I'll bait.
As we mentioned, the Askold rotations, or in general, Void Spirit's lane is so valuable because you're going to create space for the Drow. And also, Drow is the perfect bait, right? You know they want to kill her. You know she's super flimsy as well and easy to kill. So just go and protect her, right? She's a really solid bait because multi-shot and the Gust both are good counter-initiation abilities.
Absolutely, yeah. Tons of damage, and then the movement as well can be super annoying and quite jarring to the Hustlers here. But just to go into my little hypothesis here, I think Dire Enigma is so goddamn strong. Radiant Enigma is really good as well, don't get me wrong. But the reason I especially like it is because... Dire, they typically have, they can TP a little bit easier, right, to try and contest Roche. 6 seconds and then plus 1 second for each TP. So being able to contest Roche a little bit easier here if you can demolish a tier 1 tower using your Eidolons, demolish a tier 1 here, and then maybe put up some wards in the enemy jungle. And then just by existing, the Enigma already kind of dissuades IPG or any Radiant team from trying to contest Roche. I think that's super valuable, and I think that's why I think having like really good tower pushing or just good map control on Dire side is especially important. Supernova drops the wall, vacuum combo here, and they will be able to... Oh, maybe actually. He might just perish here. Yeah, especially. Oh, nice job, King R. Great fissure rotating through the right time.
King R's a really good Earthshaker.
He might die here to the Wraith King illusion, though.
No,
not quite.
Crits, enchant Totem. There we go. Just make sure that No Fear has enough space. You don't need to kill the illusion. Just ignore it. Well, I mean, it's kind of tough, though. 20 seconds. And I agree with your point, actually, about how lane pushing is a bit more valuable for Dire. Dire also... So the whole difference in the triangles, at least nowadays, how it's considered is that Dire has the better triangle for farming because your triangle leads into the enemy jungle and more directly. whereas Radiant is a better triangle for Roshan objectives, right? So that's why Radiant has better Roshan control in general.
And it's super easy to stack this Dire jungle.
Yes.
Like, it's quite trivial. As long as you have one ranged hero with boots, it can be done.
So Dire is a bit more efficient if you're planning to play for one for that reason, right? The thing, though, is the Dire triangle is more often invaded because you play around the bottom half of the map more than you do on the top half, just because of the nature of the farm. And that also means that Dire struggles a bit to kind of keep this in check, right? That's why you see, particularly in Eastern Europe, if you're Radiant, you'll push that bottom tier 1 very often, much more so than if you're Dire, when you're pushing the top tier 1. So the Enigma does help a lot in that sense. I can see the point there, especially because he can push without committing himself. Mid lane, there is a fight going on. And they're going to catch up to Askel. This is a really good kill. Hookshot is trying to stop him, but Static Storm is a bit too strong. And Ladon might have just sacrificed himself here for nothing. As they even activated the Exorcism of Magical, he is ready to go. They did steal the Exorcism on the Rubik, which is a really good steal, but it's only level 1, which Rubik I don't think can take too much advantage of.
Yeah, on the tower push, I mean, even without the Enigma, it's really strong here, especially after getting the pick off onto the enemy mid laner. A good Fade Bolt will buy a little bit of extra time here for the tower, but you can see King R looking for anyone that's getting a little bit too aggressive. This ward as well about to expire for the likes of IPG. They're hoping to catch Rari after TPing in. Fortunately, he walked over in the bottom lane. Magical, eating the Aether Remnant. Counter initiation here off the Fissure. Unfortunately, they're not going to have the silence in time.
What a
Big silence, though. Connects onto 4.
Those Fissures, dude. I mean, they've been, like, playing Tusk, essentially. He has not really been playing into the stuns. Just choke point Fissures all the time, and they could try to push now middle lane.
Yep, both offlaners are just going to go, oh boy, free tower. And here's the cubes. The Rubik's Cubics onto the tower.
That's adorable.
It is.
Hook shot. I don't know if you can listen to a kill.
Good two-man silence.
And they will end up finishing off both, just because of the damage that Rari can put that out into this team fight. Watson doesn't want to go in because he has... Oh, he does have a reincarnation, but he's just a bit afraid though right now. But the black hole is available if they overextend, but no way to initiate, which makes it difficult. They're just going to let the tower take a fair damage and allow them to retreat.
Yep, the Rubik ghosts are back in his pocket. And he's going to... do you have any friends that ever did like cubing or stack cupping or something like that?
That's a very American thing, dude.
It did seem like a very
so
American thing.
American.
Specifically, I want to say Midwestern and also Californian. I don't think they're doing that in like in the middle of Utah.
Is Utah not Midwest?
No.
Not like...
No, it's okay.
Midwest?
It's okay. I was gonna make a Rubik's joke, but it's not really gonna work out too well here. There was a whole month where I got to make American jokes during Realms Collide. Unfortunately,
it's because America's very big, dude. That's why you guys did the cup set. You run out of things to do, you know. There's too many people.
There's too many people.
You all need something to do.
We all have too many cups, you know.
Like, you all want to be individuals, but you're like, how can you be an individual in a nation with 300 million people?
Taking a look at net worth here. Watson up to 6K already. He's actually going for the arm on the Desto, so he wants to fight early. Hook shot in the mid lane. They've caught Magical. This could be another kill into the Aether Remnant. He's in trouble. Static Storm to try and counter initiate, but Askel, he's already out of there. He does not sticking around much longer. And now might even look to counter-engage with this haste room. Doesn't have any astral steps, though, so it's going to be a bit difficult for them to try and go in. As we'll end up taking a look here. Supernova going straight for the Aghanim Scepter. It's a bit greedy, but it's such a great item here for the Darkseer if you can manage to farm that one nice and early. Necrobook 3 for Enigma. This is not really what Enigma wants to do, by the way. Enigma...
likes to be pushing.
He likes to be pushing. He doesn't want to defend because, yeah, like you're saying, it's not effective. He's not your Tide Owner, and he's not your Timber Saw, right?
No.
Yeah, so it's not very fun for him to be doing
particularly it's the mid lane, right? Because the mid lane, you're like, all right, so I can like kill one creep, and I can somehow add lines over for maybe 3 meters, and then they die. Right, so it's very useless. So the problem here is that the Enigma much rather be in the side lanes. If you're going to defend, side lanes is fine, because you can at least push out the lane a fair amount. But in the mid lane, particularly when the tier 1 tower has not fallen, it's just a waste of time. That's a really nice steal by Koval, but they're going to try to cancel or punish it. Economic on creeps are nearby. Koval should just die. However, at the same time, Funny will also fall. Magical activate Exorcism in front of Edge's dead teammate going for Supernova. They glimpse him into the Wraith Fire Blast, and that's going to be enough for the Echo Slam as well. Ladon in the middle of that just suffers the brunt of the Echo Slam and gets killed by a single crit. Oh, wow. And the build that Watson actually decided to be a much quicker build to match the Drow Ranger's strength. And you need to go for the Armlet Deso build. An old build, but still a viable one on the Wraith King.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see, he's He's fine. This is what he should be doing. It's not every single game you see a Wraith King participating in a tier 1 tower push, especially when you have already basically, you know, the DP ulti to work with. But it's an important tower to take here. This is going to relieve a little bit of pressure from our Enigma. Because if IPG want to continue pushing this mid lane, it's super easy to just jump on them if they're standing up here now without a tier 1 tower to TP to and to get support. So Magical here is going to head in the jungle. No Fear looking to set up a couple of aggressive wards. Yeah, Yule's coming real soon as well. That was a big rocket flare.
Yeah, it's a first step towards release from Magical, right? It's for you first take the Yules, you take one more fight or so, then you get level 12 ideally, and then once you're level 12, you're going to start to push a lot of towers. Funnick has done recover a bit in the jungle, he's going for the drums, and once he has him, I'm assuming he's going to start just playing the lanes and just being as aggressive as possible. The problem right now is that Ascult can solo kill Magical, and you have to be a bit worried about that, right? That's why the Void Spirit's a good semi-counter to Enigma. The Clockwork, okay, stopping the Urshick with a battery stall for a while. He's still stunned though, and Grimstorm will finish him off. Beautiful silence of the 2. But Magical, do you really want to fight this? I don't think so. They kill King R in the backlines. Now Magical's in trouble as a Drow just decimates him. And Hustlers will lose 2 for free. Yule Scepter came at the end, but it was just a dead corpse.
Oh, it was for the creep actually. He Yule Sceptered the creep. But he did get the last hit on the creep.
Yeah, that was good.
What is it, 15 damage out from Cyclone or something? 50?
Yeah. And Wraith King at least wants to get a counter kill to Koval. So much damage with Arma Tezo now completed. So that's pretty good for Wraith King.
Oh, man.
But unfortunately, he still lost 3. And Magical's life was worth much more than Rubik's.
Absolutely. Koval there just throwing out the silence. It's not like he's playing against the Q King, you know, who just needs to press one button against you. But that's okay. He just wanted to show off that he stole silence.
He has 2 buttons, dude. He has W as
well. Yeah, but he already...
now with the armlet toggling 3 whole buttons.
Yeah, is that silence? Is that silence by silence? Oh, it's a good one. Funnick here, he's now going to have those drums on the way. He's back into the mid lane here just because he anticipates a move out from IPG. He'd be correct. I reckon they're looking to smoke up here potentially for a fight. Supernova's so damn close, though, to his Aghanim Scepter. But they might just send in Ladan to do their bidding, really. Good guy, Ladan, helping his Darkseer get some CS.
Yeah, right? Like, hey, I need a creep, and I can't buy Helm of the Dominator. Ladan! Ladan!
Yeah, just go run around and farm the camps.
Like he's
with,
your robot butler or something.
Farm it with... You can hit the creep, but make sure that the Ion Shell gets the last hit, all right?
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll do my best. Don't you dare touch that creep, Ladan! Okay, sir. I'm sorry. I just wanted my boots.
No. I mean, Ladan, he's a good position 4 player. That's something that
is not a good game for a Clockwork.
No. That's something that I hear actually a lot of position 5s, position 4s talk about is they rather actually like this patch because Grimstroke, Coddle, both in, both very heavy farming supports, so you actually get to have some good impact. We've seen lots of Shakers. Of course, Shaker, whenever he's in the meta and strong, he always gets good priority in farm. Grimstroke, especially versus a Wraith King, we've seen plenty of times get space to farm the Ags because the Dark Portrait ends up kicking his ass.
Or like Shaman, for example, as well. It's a very impactful for Lion, TP. You know, those supports are quite impactful. Long gone are the days where you have to play Enchantress 5, unless you're North American. In which case, for some reason, that's still your top pick.
Still like the Ench, yeah.
Much to the chagrin of every other region and all the analysts that cast them.
They're not quite tanky enough to do this. They don't have the mech, so with Ladan needing to be outside the pit to counter-engage, they're going to have to give up the Roche. It'll be scouted now, just about on half HP. Hookshot. They managed to actually catch Funnick here. Silenced up. He might just drop the black hole, but not definitely onto the Clockwork. He will go down. Oh, they've actually got now a 2-man beautiful Echo Slam to follow up into the kinetic field static storm combo. As IPG kind of just spread out way too thin across the entire sort of Roche area. And end up just kind of falling one by one. There's the glimpse.
That guarantees the kill on Ladan. They finally got rid of his barrier, and now they can go for the Roshan as well. And because Wraith King has Dazzle Amulet, this Roshan falls even quicker, which is a better use of the Enigma, of course. And another great, we see here why the Enigma as well is so valuable. Yeah, you're trying to cancel him to cancel his black hole, no big deal. He just draws aggro, allows your team to hit, and on top of that, you have the Eidolons and Necronomicons still deal damage. Very similar to the Na'Vi game.
Whoa.
Oh. Okay, the Void Spray does get a kill onto King R. Double kill onto both supports. Yule Scepter avoids a stun, and now with the silence, they might be able to kill Wraith King, but the Enigma surprise with the Malefice. Askel might just die to the Malefice damage. Dissimulate to avoid the last tick, but the blink from Watson, recently acquired, guarantees the kill onto Askel, and he gets the Wicked 6 back from that.
Yeah, they did snipe that Aegis, though, so pretty good job there. And they're looking for a second kill onto Funnick with the hook shot into the vacuum. Cog pushback gets him real close to Rari, but Rari there with a couple of procs off the marksmanships will get it. Watson, silence, but will set up for the kill onto Ladon. And he does, yeah. He doesn't really care even if he dies there. Yeah, I just wanted to point out one thing. I was surprised that they really focused a lot of their initiation onto the Enigma. It seems like they weren't all on the same page there because they, like us, recognize this is not really an Enigma that should be able to just, you know, blink a black hole, get all 5 of you, because he doesn't have a blink. He just has regular boots. He's not especially fast, even with the drums active.
Even when he does that, you have the difficulty of course, Rubik and the Clockwork, right? 2 heroes that can one of them steal your black hole and one cancel it super easily with a hook shot. So you don't really have a game where black holes can be the huge utility. That's partially why the Enigma this game has to be played about the Eidolons. It's not so much that he chooses to, it's that he has to. There's no other option. But he's just drawing aggro in the team fights while his Eidolons are still doing damage. So I think Enigma's quite happy with his performance. You have a secondary source of team fight, in fact, tertiary as well, so Earthshaker and Disruptor, in addition to some degree to the Exorcism. So I don't think you're too worried about the black hole being useful or not.
Yeah. Yeah, so the rest of them, I think they were looking for the Earthshaker, who ends up finding him. Another hook shot here as Ladon. He's just using these whenever he gets the opportunity, really. No Fear is going to live. He even stands here and farms the cogs because they've got the Earthshaker on the high ground, so they were baiting him. Nice play there.
Because they know Ladon's playing super aggressive this game, because he kind of has to, right? Sacrificial Clockwork, just throw him over and try to get kills.
See you later, tower. Tier 2 taken. Tier 2 top rather is pushing, but I don't really think Askel is going to want to show on the map. He's really, he's kind of getting there towards his Zags. Needs another 1,000 to be able to afford that.
They don't seem to want to defend that top tower. Oh, they're just going to let it fall, which is interesting for Hustlers. I feel like you're giving that tower for free. Because you don't really have that much, it's not like IPG has that much push, so that tower feels threatened. And they don't have enough initiation for you to feel threatened to defend it, honestly. Askel alone is not that strong.
No, most certainly not. That's the beauty of the Darkseer Ags, though, is really you throw 2 Ion Shells onto a wave, and that thing is pushing until it finds a tower, pretty much.
Pick an Enigma, though. Where's the Enigma? Why is he not pushing that tower? Why is he still in jungle? You know, why are you using him with a threat of black hole as we already established? BKB. I don't see the point of the BKB.
Nah, me neither.
I mean, you stop the vacuum, I guess, from canceling you, but hookshot and spell steal still go through.
Yeah, I mean, you also stop the I don't know, Aether Remnants, Yules or something like that. The Gust as well. But no, I mean, I completely agree with you. It's the hookshot is king here. Oh, they're gonna miss it though. Hookshot is no longer the king, but no fear. Long live the king is, well, not going to live much longer. They will kill him. Drops the kinetic field, though, and that's going to be a 2-man echo. Where's the follow-up? Here's Watson. Magical as well from behind, but the Yule Scepter for Askel. Immediately, though, into... Is there the shard already for our Earthshaker? There is not, so he is going to be able to escape by the looks of it. They only end up getting the Clockwork, but he's a bigger kill in exchange for your Disruptor.
We have Blink. There we go. Trying to kill Koval.
They missed the Gust
as well. Now going for the Drow Ranger, but unfortunately, they don't have the slow to catch up to her. Instead, in the bottom lane, they did purge off Supernova Surge, which means they can chase after him again. Supernova in the trees. There's the Midnight Pulse. They catch him with the Enchant Totem. His illusion is not helping him too much. The Surge is not going to allow him to live as the Malefice Ticks ends up finishing him off. That's another win for Hustlers, and this is what we're talking about, right? The secondary and tertiary team fight are truly your biggest source of team fight. Your Black Hole doesn't even need to come out. And now, if the Drow shows herself, you can still punish this. That's a good Gust with multi-shot. Can that kill Magical? No, he'll barely survive. He still has the Magic Wand in addition to the Yule Scepter. Okay, good glimpse actually to get rid of the Clockwork.
They send him home. He just wants to make sure his skill shot percentage this game is going to be above 75%, so he's got to go for those free hook shots right there, and we'll connect. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if you're glimpsed mid a hook shot, no, because you actually travel in hook shot, unlike for hook. Because I'm not sure, because for some weird things, like if you like hook... like if you pudge hook an Underlord as he's using the ultimate, sometimes he'll live. What is Magical doing here? Might just end up dying. Yeah, he's just dead. He died to Spirit Siphon 2 creep.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I think he was trying to regen, but everyone's alive for IPG. I mean, they don't just...
You're in the mid lane as well, which is the most dangerous lane right now, because you just saw IPG TP 2 heroes there, right? Before you left the engagement, so don't go back there.
Yeah, that was a bit confusing. I'm not really sure what his plan was.
Yeah, Magical doesn't understand, or I guess doesn't seem to acknowledge how weak he is this game. Not as a player, but as a hero.
Nice hook shot there to stop
really good hook shot.
Counter initiation. Yeah, very good.
Static Storm missed completely. Fissure used with the shard. This time you do have it. Wraith King fighting to the death. That illusion is actually busting him up. And Watson's going to lose his first life. We need a black hole from Funny to cover him, if anything.
Oh, gets the blink off. Wow.
Never mind.
Yeah, a little bit low on mana here on the rest of IPG as well. As look at the D ward to maintain some vision control. Unfortunately, it's still a little bit too early for Roche, so they're not going to get much out of this one, having just fought after they got the tier 1. But it's another Static Storm down, so about another minute here where they still have a nice advantage for the next team fight. But that's going to be the reveal of the Earthshaker Fissure upgraded with the shard. Did he?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
No, yeah, I just checked. He had it in the last team fight already. Last little skirmish.
This one?
Yeah, before the last little skirmish, he placed a little fissure before that.
This one?
No, not that one. Not in this team fight.
Oh,
the skirmish in the middle. Like when that team fight was starting to finish off, he just got a shard in the middle of it. So he used one fissure. Mind you, I don't think the shard reveal is huge either, to be honest. It's more like, oh, okay. Well, expected right around minute 20. It's such a valuable shard, and so the timing kind of forced it that you always have to get it there. It's not like Blink Dagger where the timing depends on the hero. Or, sorry, the player. That's Clockwork versus Earthshaker for you, dude. You can't really get your spells off. Magical starting to suffer the same, but he realizes he can't stay here too long.
Yeah, they don't know the Earth. They don't know the Wraith King's nearby. He's standing in the fog waiting to make the jump then. He sees a nice tasty Ladon. He'll go for it, but he traps himself in the cogs. The push back there not triggering. Ladon's still alive as the 8th Air Remnant will catch Watson. That allows him to get the free kill on a Magical, and the first life already down. Funnick, though, with the BKB active. Solo Black Hole onto the Drow, but that spell stolen immediately, and there actually is a Static Storm. That's going to zone him out, so there's going to be no kill, but there's the Black Hole from the low ground. He catches 2. In the middle of it is Watson. Do they have the damage to follow up? With Rari on a sliver of HP, turns with the multi-shot, gets the damage off at the very least. 2 extra kills there, and likely the full team wipe, as No Fear will be the last to fall. And yeah, I mean, oh, all right, there we go. just, you know, all the way from over here. Nothing wrong with that.
That seems fine, right?
But yeah, I mean, that's why I was also kind of confused with this decision to go for BKB, because it doesn't stop that from happening.
I think that the black hole there was more counterproductive than it was good. Like, yeah, catching the Drow seemed important, but you just gave it to the Rubik, which managed to counter-initiate the team fight there. But also because his Ether Lens and his talent maxed, right? Or his passive max, sorry. So which gives him enough range to actually cast from the low ground, which you pointed out correctly there. So, not really sure what the point of that black hole was. You're so countered. I guess the hook shot was not available, so you saw that. It was a really good Static Storm on the Rubik, though, granted. But he still stole the black hole.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, with the new passive, especially with the Aether Lens, but even just with the passive alone, which is 1 Aether Lens, by the way, you can cast it from so far away. So it's not the most effective tool. I mean, I totally agree, right? Because if you look at which black hole was more impactful there, well, obviously it was the Rubik's, 100%. Yeah. Not even close.
I would say you could have won the team fight without that black hole for Funnick, is what I'm saying as well. Like, you had the Blink Dagger on Wraith, you just had to blink to the Drow.
They did at least kill Rari. That's not really much.
But just barely, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could have accomplished the same by just blinking towards her and killing her. I mean, you went for a build on Wraith King that's, like, particularly aggressive, you know, so you can actually blink towards enemies and kill them quickly. The shard this time, they catch more Clockwork, but the Wraith King's also in trouble.
Oh my goodness, the damage, DD.
And yeah, that DD onto Magical now. They try to kill her, then you just need a bit more control, and Magical will fall. Glimmer came doing absolutely nothing to save him.
Really good spacing here. They're never lined up from a fissure. As long as they know which direction the Earthshaker's coming from, they play very, very wisely around it. And so now this is going to be a little bit dangerous, though, because they're going to lose vision. So let's see how they set up for this Tier 2 siege, if they even try for it. Because, again, versus Earthshaker, I don't know, man.
This Drow is looking incredible, though. I mean, the amount of damage she's putting out, and they're rarely being able to catch up to her. I'm surprised by the positioning of IPG. They're not giving enough of a chance for neither Earthshaker nor Wraith King to catch up to the Drow, blink to her, and then, like, stop her. It's more towards the Enigma, it seems like. Magical is always in the front lines, and of course always getting burst down by the Drow.
It's also a really fun game to be playing the Rubik here as well for Koval. So it's a good game to be standing in. You can see he's like, oh, Airshaker Shard. Yeah, I want that one. Thank you very much. He's going to queue it up.
He still has Black Hole as well.
He does.
For another 30 seconds, might just get one more use out of it. And if it's in the Roche pit, this would be ideal. I don't know if they're calculating this in Hustlers.
He'll have, yeah, like you said, it'll be around 30 seconds. Oh, beautiful hook shot. He's going to catch 4. They can't counter-initiate. They actually push him away, so Funnick uses the BKB for nothing here. He's going to be looking to run in. There's going to be the vacuum now to get Watson. Again, a one-man Black Hole, this one on the draw, but at least Watson able to do the damage. And now can they get the kill? No, with the Ion Shell active, and Rari with the BKB. He's going to be able to walk up the high ground. Magical looking to chase. He's going to see Supernova. That's not who they wanted, though. They wanted Rari in the backline. Now Funnick getting gone on by Askold, completely melted. And all of a sudden, the Hustlers, they've overextended. They're in a really bad position here, but they will at least get Ladon as well as Supernova. They're going to try and finish off Roche. We should still have BKB, and we do. He's actually re-stolen Black Hole, sorry, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, so now you can just walk in. You know there's no reincarnation.
You don't even
either.
need to walk. That's for losers.
Blink in. Yeah, blink in. Doesn't calculate it in time. Unfortunately, the Rubik will lose this opportunity. There was no follow because Rari was too far away, and that makes sense. That's why Koval was playing so defensively. No need to waste that Black Hole. You get pretty much one use of it per spell steal, more or less, right? Unless you really rush it. So that means it's just better to just play it safe, right?
Yeah, you're not guaranteed a second one, unfortunately. With level 2 spell steal, if you use it immediately, there's a 40-second downtime. You get a little bit longer here with level 3, up to another minute and a half. So that's a little bit nicer once you do get level 18 here for your Rubik. Yeah, but he needs to get a little bit more experience for that to be relevant. But there is going to now be a second life for Magical. This time it's already lasting a lot longer than the last stages did, as he doesn't lose it immediately after leaving the pit. Cheese as well for the Wraith King. Just about as good as a second life for him. Well, a third life, rather.
Yeah, third life. Oh, how? Oh, right. They show off the ward. That's just the insane Rubik rage. The Black Hole for the Enigma and the Earthshaker. That's all the enemy initiation gone from this team fight. If only they can put the damage out. Rari already killed King R and no fear. Ladon fighting against fighting. They want to guarantee this kill. BKB used by Rari. He fighting the Wraith King. Wraith King doesn't seem to do too much damage. The wall replica has been dropped. Supernova just to cover Rari.
Great
and they vacuum into the high ground.
The double
Magical
RTZ.
and Watson stuck there. And the illusion from Watson is doing more than Watson himself.
Askold
wants to join him. He goes for the Simulate.
Oh,
he actually goes
wow.
onto the low ground, kills Watson in the process. No fear. Just trying to walk up to Rari to accomplish this kill. It's going to be impossible. Magical revives, only to die a second time. That's a team wipe +1.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to be fighting the Darkseer near any choke points like that.
That was an insane value.
He owns people near that. We saw Rari, or we saw Koval actually earlier on to start that fight. He actually tried to telekinesis the Disruptor up there, who, by the way, died back in that fight. They do very well to get the initial pick onto Askold, by the way. The Black Hole counter initiation there by the Rubik was so damn good.
Yeah.
And
they also got both of the enemy initiators. I mean, the Disruptor you knew had no static storm. So you got the Enigma, you got the Earthshaker, and you're like, well, how do you counter initiate me now, right? And that was why the Black Hole was particularly
And even a follow-up at that stage. I'm surprised IPG go for more. I mean, then you know, okay, Rubik doesn't have Black Hole now for 140 seconds. But then they chase the Darkseer, who still has Vacuum, which is something you should be keeping aware of in these fights.
And still had Wall Replica, which was a big deal as well.
It is.
That's slowed down the Wraith King enough for the Drow to get away. And on that note, by the way, I think these have been some of the most impactful BKB charges I've ever seen on a carry on this Drow. Like, he's used, what, I think it's 10, 9, and 8 seconds now? Yeah, okay, so he's used the first 3. And those first 3 charges have pretty much net him a team fight every single time. Him surviving most of the time, and also a huge team fight. I mean, come on. IPG is playing this out of their mind.
They are. They're doing extremely well here. I completely agree with you. They're looking real strong as well, even especially with Koval. I mean, he's having a great game. Again, top 75 here currently on the leaderboard. So there's no question if he's skilled enough. It's just at this stage, can he mesh with the team in a pretty high stress scenario here as well here, to be honest. Because again, just to remind you, both of these teams currently sitting at 1-3 in the league. 1-4 is currently 8th place for Bait, so they're going to want to try and get as far away from that marker as they can. And Magical, he's just pushing like a madman down here. Well, there's nobody nearby. There's no one for him to TP. Like, there's no help, and he's dead.
Honestly, Magical's positioning this whole game has been a bit questionable, right? Sometimes leading when his team fight was not ready, and therefore...
SEA smoke.
Well, not SEA smoke, right? Because you just...
Oh, right, they killed someone.
Yeah. This is the Russian smoke. This is the... We just killed someone, we gotta kill more, right?
Yeah,
the oppressive smoke, the Iron Fist. Let's see what you can find here.
No, but you're right. Magical with the position in this game has been a little questionable. That's the second death here. First one in the mid lane, hook shot, beautiful catching Funnick, but they've got the glimpse. Funnick pops his BKBs, really scared of the follow-up here. Will be able to escape, but also drops the Necro
Still
3s.
Glimpse, by the way. Pretty good steal.
Look at this. Cast range.
I mean, as a glimpse isn't already ridiculous, but you're right. If you have vision, just, yeah.
500 additional cast range. But thank you very much.
About Magical, though, even in the fights, the problem is that he's always leading with his initiation not being there. So even when he's dying, like, okay, when you're dying pushing lanes, sometimes you might misread the map. You might think that you need to push a bit more desperately. You're in your contingency plan. Sure, I get it. But in the team fights, why are you leading with your Earthshaker and Disruptor behind you? That should never be the option.
Well, I think Magical wants to be the first one in with this Blink Dagger especially. I agree. I'm just, this is the way I see it though, right? Because he's
but once you do it 3 times, you lose 3 times.
Well, unfortunately, he's already invested into the Eternal Shroud though. That's the problem,
I think
right?
Eternal Shroud is fine, but yeah, you shouldn't be leading. If you want to be leading, you should have a plate mail to deal with the Drow's damage, and not so much the Eternal Shroud.
Yeah.
Like as it stands right now, it seems more like Hustle should be leading with Wraith King, Enigma to follow up, Earthshaker and Disruptor standing a bit behind, and the DP trying to destabilize the backlines with their movement speed, as opposed to DP just running in really far from her team so that they can't really help her initiate.
Well, I mean, I do agree with you there, but that's not seems to be what they want to go for. I wonder if maybe this game, it doesn't really seem to be too impactful, to be honest, as Vampiric Aura. Vampiric Spirit now, sorry. Yeah. My goodness. It's not an aura, it's a spirit. To just, oh goodness, what's it called? Things we do in the shadows, Vampiric Spirit. There's probably some good Dota jokes you could make there with Wraith King. I don't know he was a vampire though.
Wraith King is not a vampire.
Oh, why does he have a Vampiric Spirit in him then?
Because he has a spirit of a vampire. He identifies as a vampire, but he's still a Wraith King.
Either way, because of that lifesteal, wouldn't mind going for the shard here, the hypothermia, reducing the lifesteal.
I actually think this shard is very undervalued.
I agree.
I think people should start doing it more. Particularly, I've seen like Drows against Morphling.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Why?
It's so good.
It's so strong against heroes like Morphling. I agree, it's pretty strong against Wraith King.
I mean, the Drow and
it's so cheap as well.
It is. The Drow in theory is already so strong against the Morphling because if Morph's full agi, you cut through all his base armor. He doesn't build. Usually, he doesn't build any plus armor items.
Yep,
so you cut through him like a piece of cheesecake.
Oh, Wraith King.
Great vacuum again.
Oh my
Watson
goodness.
Stuck on the cliff. And they've even got an iron shot. No, he's fighting his own illusion up there. They will bring back Ladon. He's going to have the blink available now within the basher in his inventory here, so he does pack quite a punch.
Watson always wanted to be a top player, but he didn't know he's going to be a top player in NA of all things.
Absolutely.
This poor man. He's been living in the cliff for so long, he's got spider legs just to get on cliff.
He does, actually. You know what? That's great.
Up
until Giants Ring, you can't ask for much better. Top lane, Magical yet again here. Oh, a little bit of lag, but there's the slideshow now ending. Magical, server lag, mind you. He's going to live for now.
Lag saved him, honestly. There were 3 people haunting for.
I'm pretty sure that was just going to be us.
Are you sure? Server lag usually affects the players too.
I've gotten a lot of scenarios where it just seems to be me, especially because we're spectating from quite far away.
Oh, okay. Because whenever we spectate Death America, that happens. It's like, nope, that's.
Well, unfortunately, that's just the SA servers being SA, right? I think that's something unfortunately unique to SA. Sometimes you'll see it in C as well, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Specifically when Filipinos teams are playing.
Okay, so in Europe, when the servers fails, only for the casters.
It's only for the casters.
SA, when the servers fails for everybody.
It's for everyone. That's
equality!
Equality down there. Absolutely. That's what we're looking for here.
Okay, Minotaur Horn now for IPG. Pretty big, actually, for Drow, I would say. Or even Void Spirit, either or.
Oh, a rare missed hook shot from Ladon.
Can you put the net worth in order again?
There it is.
That's not the order.
How about that one?
That's not that one. There we go. Thank you. What order? The wrong one?
The wrong one? The wrong one? The really annoying one that exists for some reason?
Yeah, I don't know why there's so many features of the order there. The dog.
Oh, they yeet him down to the low ground. That's going to be the shard there for Rubik, but that's not going to save him. It does put, however, Watson in a bad position. They're going to spawn the wall, but they drag him back in. Ladon's like, why? Please, no, get him away from me. The big old crit will knock him down as now Supernova trapped inside of the Static Storm. Watson's going to respawn after the first life.
Oh, Black Hole, no! They're going to catch Rari. This is perfect, but they did steal the Black Hole in time. Koval
no blink.
Can counter-initiate. There's no blink, but he does have a Black Hole from the low
ground. Just going to TP.
happened.
He doesn't care.
He's okay. That's very, very valuable, actually. You just played a team fight just to steal a black hole. I think that's kind of justifiable, honestly.
That's BKB used by Watson as well. His first life's down. No Exo, no black hole. Roche respawning in 25 seconds. I don't think IPG could ask for a better engagement at this stage. No. They even killed their position 4 in a very clever way.
I mean, but that kill was like, why do you have to kill Laton there just for the reincarnation? And Askel is level 25, by the way, which means Assimilate Town, which means extra stuns, which means Phonic is dead.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now Roche is going to perfectly be respawning here. They're going to be able to kill the Earthshaker illusion before. No, boys, no, go back. Oh,
they didn't check. They have black hole as well, which allows them to take this Roshan for free.
Yeah,
pretty much, because there's no way you can fight into that. Askel, is he the only one level 25 right now?
I believe he is. No, he's
Drow
not.
and Wraith can reach 2. Okay, fair enough. But he's much above Magical, like 3 whole levels above Magical, which is the enemy mid laner.
I love the CDR this game as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say that. Like, I think that level 25 on Voice Prayer tends to be one of the most valuable ones, honestly. I think it's as good as Splinter Blast stuns, maybe even better. It's ridiculous. It gives you so much extra team fight.
You're a real big fan of it. I love the CDR as well. At first, I wasn't a big fan when
much better.
When they removed the marksmanship active, right, and it would push all of the creep waves at once.
I mean, it's mainly for the items, honestly. Like, it's good for multi-shot and gust, but it's mainly for the BKB, honestly.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, it's pretty significantly by 30%, right? It's significantly.
Oh, Rubik, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it reduces the.
Oh no, what?
Who's got it?
Oh,
no,
okay,
Ladon.
fair enough. Actually,
yeah, overclock for sure.
Ladon's like, well, guys, you just killed me, so I deserve this. It's mine now.
It's his workers' comp.
Exactly. Or else I'll sue Radiant and I'll win for a bunch of money.
And NA, they still wouldn't give it to him.
Well, with this IPG, they have the 2 ways to cancel the black hole now. Literally the double hook shot. I think it's rare that Ladon will ever use the overclock unless he's like either stopping the black hole or using on the Wraith King.
No, Ladon's going to use the double hook shot whenever he feels like it. Come on.
We've knowing him as a player, sure.
The ideal way to play in a very close game where there's a lot on the line and the net worth lead is closer to 0, I agree. He's not going to be doing that. But in this game, he's going to be going double hook shot, go burr, and just looking for, although the game has changed, Divine Rapier.
That's huge, actually. How much is your crit now?
A lot.
We'll see. Thank you, sir, mathematician. I'm glad I'm casting with you. Watson, this is a good backdooring, actually. If you can just kill... Yeah, Supernova's ideal, actually. Get rid of the vacuum. No, the telekinesis saves
it. The black hole's gonna
black hole. They have their own black hole now, and Rubik did a show what a real black hole looks like.
They vacuum into the black hole.
Black hole vacuum makes a team wipe, essentially. Wraith gets reincarnation. They want to kill him a second time. Askel to the high gun, misses the Ether Remnant, instead stops the Earth Shaker. The Fissure will stop him for a second. Glimpsing back Askel. Nice to simulate. Ladon doesn't have the second hook shot available, though.
Earth Shaker shard.
Now,
up
they might just stop Ferrari. He has now the BKB, and he has the Aegis, though, instead. So he's going to have to waste his first life, but his second life comes with a BKB available. You need to somehow defend him here. They have Shivas and Askel, walks right in, simulate as well. Damage to the Drow is good. Ferrari wants a Rapier, kill him. They take the Wraith King, and the Rapier's on the floor. Now, Magical has to hold on to it, but Telekinesis brings him back. Askel wants to go in, doubting his initiation. Magical will just have to keep that Rapier in his inventory. He's unable, he can't use it right now. He has to give it to the Wraith King.
Oh my goodness. What a beautiful team fight from IPG. I think that was the best counter initiation I've ever seen in this tournament here so far. I think maybe across any region. That was a thing of beauty. The initial black hole completely whips.
It was also black hole with shard as well.
It
which
was
also help pull people in.
It gives you the suck, so that helps you. Actually, the Enigma's got it, so it gives it in. But even then, they had an even better one. They go, Enigma shard? No. How about the Hoover? And they hit him with the vacuum. That was really what got everyone in there. Magical. He's handed off the Divine Rapier.
That doesn't mean you can die.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you can
die. I agree,
die.
especially because that's a dieback. They committed 4 buybacks for that one. But I just wanted to point out, it's an inactive Divine Rapier. When you pick it up after an ally drops it, you don't get the damage.
As I just mentioned.
Yeah, and you can just drop it on the ground.
You can drop it on the ground. You can just hold on to it until your ally revives and picks it up.
It's a good thing he wasn't holding on to it.
I mean, thank God. That would have been a really, really weird play otherwise. It still drops on death, though, even if it's not active.
It does, that's true. Always drops on death, much like Gem.
Yes. And now they're going to take the last lane of Rax, ideally. I mean, Drow pushes so hard. You have 18 seconds. I would argue that you can kind of force it.
Also, couriers can pick it up when it's in that stage.
It's true. I think you can just force it. Yeah, 10 seconds. You don't care. Just take this down.
Again, there's no black hole. There actually will be in 10 seconds, but guess what? Oh no, Rubik, he died. Doesn't have it.
Doesn't matter.
That's Megas.
That's Megas.
And you kind of struggle to fight versus the Megas. With the Divine Rapier, you can hold, but it's looking real rough here. Oh, they're just going to go for it. Hookshot 1.
Yeah, okay, and they finished them off. That's a really good assimilated stun.
Hookshot number 2. There it is.
Second hookshot. You're right. He's going to use it whenever he wants to.
Black hole. Better one.
Black hole.
3.
And they walk in with Rapier still in hand. The black hole by the Rubik is just better every single time. And I think, guys, we learned a lesson. Don't pick Enigma into Rubik.
Don't pick Earthshaker into Rubik either, I think.
Don't pick anything into Rubik.
Just
DC.
Koval, what a Rubik player. My God.
Did a really good job, honestly.
That was amazing. This is a Rubik 5, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in farm priority, he was a 4, though. He was given a 4 farm priority.
Sure.
They just played 5 for the lanes, to be fair, right? But anyway, that was a really good game by IPG. I mean, yeah, you guys, I don't think the draft was that great by IPG. I think you had a lot more options by Hustlers. I feel like Magical made a fair amount of mistakes this game. So I think Hustlers could have definitely played this better. But IPG played a great game. They played an awesome game, honestly. The black holes is what stands out, but the positioning by Rari was incredible. His BKBs were really good. Ladon's hook shots were insane. Askel, everything he did this game was great, honestly. His void spirit was out of this world.
It was. Yeah, that's very true. It generally is. I mean, yeah, just a great game from IPG. They looked so damn good, and basically team fights, like the fights were not close, I gotta say. Like, the game is pretty close because Hustlers, they still had a couple of pickoffs. Once the fights started breaking down a little bit more from like a full 5v5 into, well, whoever's left, let's go and kill, they started looking a little bit better there for the Hustlers. But overall, I mean, IPG, in this game 1, they completely outclassed Hustlers in these fights.
Yeah, I was very happy with IPG's performance. You know, you saw them in a couple other games. I think people in the chat that knew them were already commenting on this, and they're a really good team. They just make 1 or 2 mistakes. You know, they lack the consistency of more veterans, and then they end up losing matches that could be won by them. They also play kind of insane most of the time. The Dawn, as we've seen here, doesn't care. Hookshot go burr, right? But it's particularly because of these kind of risks that they tend to bring back games that seem lost. And this is something that IPG does really well. And as long as they continue playing in this lower division and ideally, you know, eventually make it developer, but, you know, they continue practicing and they continue getting a consistent play style, then eventually I can imagine this team being, honestly, top tier.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this team is great. They had expectations and hopes for top 2. I think it's a little bit unfortunate for them because when they were still kind of meshing as a team in the first couple of games, they had some really, really tough opponents, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just the way the tournament's got to go, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect to get lucky seeding every single time around. You just got to play your best Dota. They did, unfortunately. That's why they're 1-3, even though they look so damn good in this game. I mean, I can't wait for game number 2. I mean, IPG, they look amazing, and even with a stand-in, and the Hustlers, they need to step it up here because, I mean, these young guys, they were running circles around them.
They were. They played a much better game. So let's see, Hustlers, what you can propose for game number 2. Maybe just a more consistent draft, an easier to play draft, maybe. Try to take advantage of your veterans as opposed to trying to play a draft that requires some very precise coordination. Don't get me wrong, they played pretty decent team fights, but in the end, the Rubik was stronger. So let's see what Hustlers can do in game number 2. If they don't win this game number 2, they're going to join Bait in the 1-4 club. So there's a lot riding on this second game. My name is Mr. Arvel Plus. You with Seek and Strike. We're the official English cast for the lower division of the Eastern European DPC League. We'll come back shortly with the second game of the series, as hopefully we'll finally move from this spot. The snow is starting to blind me.
With the right CPU, you can turn any game from familiar to phenomenal. Unleash the potential in all your gaming with Intel 10th Gen processors. With its optimal balance of threads, cores, and frequency to deliver elite real-world performance, only Intel can bring Marvel's Avengers to life with in-game PC optimizations. Supercharge your Marvel's Avengers experience with Intel Core i5, i7, and i9 processors.
You ready? Huh? Hey, easy boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
For these initiatives to happen, empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, or I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
it's going to be for the lower division of this wonderful league.
Yeah, lower division. Really good game up from IPG. I mean, again, a very young team. These guys are they've been playing. Their 3 cores have been playing together, like I said, since about 8 months ago under a team called Benz. So their 2 supports are the newest ones, Ladan specifically. But I mean, I think games.
I think he works great with them. So
I think he does, and I think the thing that they've expressed previously, this is Askold, I'm quoting in previous interviews, is that they've always expressed kind of synergy issues. And I think games like this, where you have this amazing team fight, even though it's with a stand-in, they really help quite a bit.
I agree.
We'll take a look now. As our draft is getting underway, we'll pull into this one between IPG and the Hustlers. We're going to have Hustlers on the Dire side with last pick and IPG on Radiance with first pick.
Well, we'll see. IPG go for the Earthshaker Void Spirit, the immediate counter from the Rubik. As we've seen, Rubik's pretty strong against Earthshaker, though this time I think IPG probably will not pick up the Enigma, which is a much, much bigger counter, right?
Yeah.
Or Rubik counters much harder. I still think Earthshaker is fine, regardless of them being a Rubik or not. Just because he steals your fissure doesn't mean... Especially because Earthshaker nowadays doesn't even need to show himself, right? If you play a good Earthshaker, you can just fissure from the fog,
yeah.
and then you constantly enchant Totem, and you go, hey, Rubik, steal my enchant Totem. See what you do with that.
With that in mind, I wouldn't mind seeing something that gives you a little bit of vision. Grimstroke's pretty nice. That's actually one of the things I was going to suggest. Either that, the Coddle, ET position 5 as well with the Astral Spirit to give you vision. Some stuff like this, because you do get a little bit of vision off the tail end of that Stroke of Fate. That does linger, so that can be useful for allowing Rubik to steal that fissure. And then you can go high ground just as easily.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I like the Grimstroke as well because he's great with the Rubik. He's one of the... Actually, this is an old opening, maybe like, I don't know, 6 patches ago or so, where Grimstroke was starting to come out and people were starting to play with him a lot. And the Grimstroke, you just use Soulbind and Fate Bolt, and you get pretty much a 600 damage nuke, which is incredible. That bounces and deals the double debuff because it actually does stack there, which is incredible. So the Rubik plus Grimstroke combo has always been just a very solid pair of supports, right? They carry everything. They have stuns, silences, dispels even, because Grimstroke has the Inkswell. It's all really, really good.
I remember that patch is like kind of the renaissance of Grimstroke, because when he first got added to Captain's Mode, everyone was like double Doom, double Laguna Blade, double Lion
Finger of
yeah,
Death.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like double Fade Bolt's pretty damn good. What about a double Wraithfire? Like, all this stuff is so damn good, right? Nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, that's the patch specifically you're referring to.
I agree, because they realized, it was the point that they realized that Grimstroke, he's good with high cooldown abilities, because, of course, reflecting those are so valuable, but he's much better with low cooldown abilities, because that means you can use Soulbind a bit more freely, right? And only saving the Soulbind for the combo is kind of a waste of an ultimate. Whereas using Soulbind and then saying, how can we take advantage of this by Fate Bolting it, Arc Lightning, any of these kind of like bouncing spells, Mystic Snake. Or remember the OG time when they made up the Fatal Bonds combo with the Grimstroke? He was Soulbind and double Fatal Bonds. And
that actually that got Warlock patched. That's the reason Warlock is unpickable these days.
That was so strong.
That got Warlock patched. Yeah, and then we saw remnants of that if you played the Dire Tide at all. Freaking Warlock every game, man, every single game. But we'll be getting underway here quite shortly. I think it's a strong opening versus the Earthshaker Void Spirit. I think Grimstroke Earth Spirit is by far the best support duo right now that you can maybe draft, or as far as a draft opening, because it reveals nothing about your draft and it gives you great initiation to gank the mid lane. For this one, though, I mean, versus the Earthshaker, you want the Rubik, and a Grimstroke, again, shows nothing and gives you a lot of flexibility in your lineup. So I still like it. Oracle being banned out, so I wonder what we're going to see here for our... oh, okay, Tide.
Why do
with
you
the
ban
Ursa
the
ban.
Oracle if you pick up a Tide?
I don't know. Maybe they want to dissuade away from like a troll pick or something like that. They do like running the position 5, usually, Antoha on the Oracle, with Rari on like a troll especially. So I think they're trying to dissuade from a troll pick. It's still really damn good, though, a troll without his Oracle, just because he wins the lane versus the Tide, or at least doesn't die to Tide, still gets his farm in. He's got a good time there.
Okay, interesting choice, though. I can see the point of like protecting from the troll pick, but at the same time, I would much, like, if I see the Oracle ban, I'm thinking, all right, Beastmaster, something like that, even Legion, these single target stuns that Oracle deals with, Bat Rider, or whatever it is. Tide doesn't specifically come to mind. I would say Tide is kind of good against Oracle in general, besides a troll idea. So
yeah, I think they know, they've done their research. Ferrari is a fanatical troll player. So
I'd still pick troll though. I don't see the problem. Like,
I
I
agree.
don't have an oracle, just pick troll with something else.
I agree. I think it's totally fine. Troll with anything else because they're going to have the option. Maybe that's what they're considering here. Probably going to see.
I'd like a disruptor actually for IPG.
I agree. I think we're going to see a position 5 get picked up here because they do have 8th pick or last pick in this second picking phase.
Yep.
So they're going to be advantaged to pick something either flexible here like the bat or a position 5 like the Undying. Okay. I'm not sure if this is a Koval hero. I suspect
we don't
it is.
know, unfortunately. We've casted his games a couple of times, particularly Richie and I, because we did the EPOS Global Leagues, which is where we found him. But we don't always pull heroes too much, unfortunately.
I will say, I mean, it's a good Undying game, right? It sucks to get Tombstone stolen, but Rubik, Grim, nor the Tide are particularly good at dealing with a Tombstone. And so long as you fight near high ground or near a nice Tombstone spot, it's early on almost a guaranteed win for you.
Yeah, the Ember's a good answer to the Undying, though one of Matt Joel's better heroes as well, and he's good against Undying because you just kind of ignore him in general in the game, which is why the Ember's a solid pick here. I think he works against most lineups. He's decent against Void Spirit. I'd give a slight edge to Void Spirit in the lane because he can cancel your shield a bit more effectively, and he has a bit more lane control than Ember Spirit does. Because Ember Spirit's like, oh, Flame Guard, okay. In like 5 minutes, I will push this lane with my Flame Guard, whereas Void Spirit goes, and then the lane is pushed, which is much easier for him. And the Medusa's going to be the
speaking
pick.
of the Medusa, you mentioned her earlier, and it's like the devil. If you mention him, he shows up, apparently.
Oh yeah, because the Grimstroke combo. That's what I mentioned. She is very strong this patch and in general this game. Because the Titanhunter, of course, sucks against Dusa. You don't do anything in that lane. You can sort of anchor smash her if you get lucky, but it's a bit difficult, especially with the positioning. Rubik, Fate Bolt does nothing to her because it's not base damage that she's based on. You know, it's just consistently staying alive forever. Ember does nothing because he lacks damage against Dusa. It's a really good pick, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I would say having the Fade Bolt and Anchor Smash is a little bit annoying for the Dusa.
I mean, if you hit her with both, sure, but at that point, it's like Dusa's fault more than anything.
Yeah, sure, but you know, it makes a difference because Dusa wants long fights, much like Ember, right? They want long fights and the gyros. This is the type of heroes that their sustained damage is very high, but their nuke potential is very low.
Yes.
With some exception on Ember Spirit if you go for like Divine Rapier, the Daedalus crit build, right?
But Dusa is the second best hero for long fights.
She is.
The first one is Slark, of course, and then the second one is Dusa in the sense that like she can tank, or against other long fighters, she can tank him pretty much indefinitely. There's no way their sustained damage outscales hers, right? So she always wins in that sense, which is why Ember kind of sucks against Dusa.
Yeah, and why the Tidehunter, like these big teamfight ultis, aren't particularly strong.
Yes.
I do like the Soulbind against Dusa, though. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's particularly strong here, especially versus the Void Spirit as well. So you have like sort of double duty there because it does well versus the both of them.
I love that they banned the Darkseer, by the way, here, just because they respect Supernova so much. Because his Darkseer has been kind of insane.
Yeah, it was really good, and I don't think you want to get vacuumed into a 5-man Echo Slam here.
Or also, you don't want to give Surge to Dusa.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by
true.
the same logic, I would honestly not mind the Centaur, because I really think that movement speed on Dusa is pretty valuable. Oh.
Supernova Phoenix.
Okay, that is an interesting one. We finally get to see on the Phoenix.
I think so.
We've seen him once, I think, before, maybe.
Yeah, I've casted a game for him in a different tournament.
Arc Warden. That's a good one.
Rip Phoenix. Are they going to try and play around with the Phoenix? Doesn't look like it. Nope, Supernova Phoenix.
No, it's still worth it because the Stone Gaze is such a good protection for the Phoenix. And what you do here is IPG, it's not a difficult team fight. You drop Tombstone, you drop Supernova, and then you, not the hero, the ability, and then you drop the Stone Gaze as well. And then you go, okay, Arc Warden, choose which one you're going to fight against because you get one. You get to destroy one if you're really lucky in time. But the rest of them are going to get killed. The thing is, though, despite how great the Supernova is here, I don't think the Dusa versus Arc Warden matchup is good at all for Dusa. Because you cannot close that gap between you and Arc Warden. You don't have anything to close that gap besides maybe Void Spirit, to some degree the Earthshaker. Arc Warden should outfarm you. You'll definitely have more experience.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, there's the natural counter versus the Phoenix. I mean, it was an insta-pick, right, for the Hustlers because they knew. Safe lane as well, Arc Warden. It's just a little bit greedy, but you've got one of the best sort of like just game like time buyers. I would even call a Tidehunter because he just sits middle and slows down the enemy push to a crawl. It's absolutely horrible to play against.
In the early mid game, he's like a Timbersaw light.
Yeah.
More counter initiation.
Exactly.
So you also are afraid to initiate on him, even if you have the tools to do so, which is good. And I mean, once again, I would say Hustlers has honestly a slightly better draft just because of the Arc Warden there.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Because you essentially drafted 4% 1, you countered the 1, right? So
don't
that was
worry,
interesting.
we came back to the van momentarily.
People were like, how are they still not getting to the studio?
Honestly, yeah, TeamSpeak problems. Yeah, we have some van problems here. But yeah, I agree with you. The team fight as well is still pretty damn good here with the Tidehunter. The exception
That's
is
kind of equal for both teams, right?
I would say I would give especially the earlier edge case here to IPG.
Sure, because Tombstone.
Because Tombstone, right? The Tombstone's a really big issue because that completely kind of neutralizes the Tidehunter. It makes Arc Warden his life a little bit more difficult as well. But if you can deal with the Tombstone or snipe the Undying before the fight starts, it's a pretty good team fight lineup as well here. My biggest concern is that they're going to be a little bit weak. Depending on the build that this Ember goes for, I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Falcon Blade on him or maybe something a little bit different because it needs to be able to create some early space between like 20 to 30 minutes-ish in that sort of rough window, depending on how his lane goes and how Watson's lane goes, just to make sure, because Watson, I mean, he's going to go what, like, what's the build here? Power Shreds into Midas, right? Every single game. So he's not going to be ready to fight. He needs some time. He's like your Wraith King. But then that Power Spike feels really, really good. So that's where they're going to come under the most amount of pressure. I'd be curious as to what Askold then on the Void Spirit's going to build to try and speed this game up. Rari, what he's going to try and do. Sometimes we see a very early Butterfly to facilitate a Dusa early on in the fight. So here's a 5-man smoke.
Okay, so you gave a huge DK stack to Ladon.
20.
That's literally 5 of them. But I think that Ladon might still fall. He's just fighting against
He's
Funnick.
so
Here's
tanky.
Askold. He's ridiculous.
He's going to get off another decay.
Second decay stack.
32.
That's up to 3. Not bad. He's still going to be the first. No, he's actually going to get the first one.
They're
on
all going to
Funnick.
die.
Now they're going to counter kill No Fear. King R will suicide it to the Roshan. And I think that's a huge win, again, for IPG due to the decay stacks.
Yeah, that is massive. He stole 32 strength early on.
So that's what 8 heroes hit in the end.
8 heroes hit, yeah.
That's incredible, dude.
4 each time, yeah.
And you killed, you got the first blood.
You did.
You lost Ladon, which I think he's fine with, honestly, because he comes back to the lane with full mana.
Yep, he wants to die anyway.
Yep.
And you even get to kill him to No Fear, and you
I would
force the
say
death
kill
onto the Rubik.
Yeah, exactly. I would say it's still fine to get Rubik to kill himself, right? On the Roshan. Yeah, you don't get the gold from that, but it's okay.
Oh, last net worth a little bit too early there. Yeah, Koval is richest hero in the game. He's like, nice. Can we stop the game right here? Put me on the post game.
Yeah.
Give me that MVP.
Askold really happy with that engagement that he joined towards the end. He wasn't planning on it, you could tell.
I think Magical, yeah, he TP'd back to lane. So if Magical somehow, again, I say somehow because I don't think this is going to happen, if he somehow does take a very early death, that's very punishing for him.
Oh, yeah, but usually you shouldn't, honestly. The only thing is that as an Ember in the lane against Void Spirit, much like a Puck, you have to be a bit careful, because when you slide a Fist, you'll come back to the same place. That's very obvious. The Ether Remnant can really punish you in that sense, right? Because you just set it up. It's Slide a Fist sometimes can be a setup for the Ether Remnant. That's why a lot of Void or Ember versus Void Spirit matchups usually go for the Flame Guard max and then 1-1 in the rest of the skills, as opposed to usually maxing the Ether Remnant. One thing to be said is that Phoenix 3 is actually kind of decent against Arc Warden, though. He doesn't suffer too much against Arc Warden's damage.
In the lane, right?
Yeah, in the lane,
yeah.
Of course. Because, of course, the Spirits really reduce Arc Warden's damage. He doesn't have great agility gain in general, so he doesn't deal that much physical damage. And you're tanky enough to survive the Fluxes and the Spark Wraiths. When you play Arc Warden in the side lanes, you usually take more advantage of Spark Wraiths than you do the Flux. When you play him in the mid lane, it's more the Flux. So that's why being able to take magical damage as an offlaner here is very important against Arc Warden.
Now, nice job there.
Also, you're ranged.
Yes.
Which is a big deal against Arc Warden, because he punishes melee offlaners pretty hard.
Yeah, No Fear does well to stop the pull, so it's going to be a wave underneath the tower for Watson to farm pretty comfortably here. Just check in with the build so far. Askold hates going for the Dissemblate. He likes to go 1-1-3 for the most part.
Every time, huh?
Every time.
Even in matchups where I would say that Dissemblate is better, he still doesn't go for it.
Usually he'll take like 1 or 2 deaths before he has to put the point into Dissemblate. It's kind of one of his drawbacks on the hero, because he really prefers going for a single sort of play style, which has his strengths, because when he gets to play it, it's amazing.
Yeah, the reasoning behind that, by the way, guys, if you're wondering, is that if you go for the Dissemblate, it's a great build for farming in the mid game, but it's not a great build for playing aggressive as Void Spirit. So if you're planning on at any time, you know, try to gank with Void Spirit, especially early, your best bet is to just go for the build Askel always goes for.
Yep, Watson, he's fine. He cuts down a tree, eats another Fire Spirit. Do they have it? They've got a salve here. Grimstroke, he's going to take a little bit of extra damage here, but he's going to be fine eventually.
I liked what they did there, though. If you notice, they actually played around their power spikes pretty hard there, because the Phoenix just hit level 3, so he has the level 2 Fire Spirit, which is a big deal, because that's doubles the damage, more than doubles the damage, actually. And as soon as they do that, they get the Fissure Block onto the Arc Warden and put pressure onto him, taking away his salve. Yeah, that's how you play a lane, guys. Even lanes have power spikes. They're much smaller, of course, but they do have them.
The best supports will really make quite a big plays happen at these times, and the even better offlaners will encourage, and sometimes even when Tiny's in the meta, throw their supports at the enemies to make sure that they were well aware of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say Supernova and Ladan, these guys play really great Dota together, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw last game, even the lane, the first level was really rough for that Clockwork Darkseer, but from there on it was pretty damn good.
Yeah. King R. Okay, we see a gush going on Rari, then the Anchor Smash as well. Rari did take with a 1 point in Mana Shield, though, to protect him.
He turned off the Mana Shield, though, when he got Anchor Smash. He's like, this isn't enough damage to kill me. It's only level 1.
Yeah, don't waste mana there.
Exactly. Nice and extra efficient there.
Because you want to have enough mana for the Mystic Snake to constantly have a slew of mana. Oh,
that's right.
No. Koval could be in trouble. Yeah, he should have canceled the Flux there, Supernova. But instead he stays away from Koval, which means he takes the full damage from Flux. He hasn't died to the Stroke of Fate,
the gap, though.
Yeah. Good division there towards the end. Oh, it's true. Grimstroke wants you to be together, but Flux... Sorry, Grimstroke punishes you if you're together, but Flux punishes you if you're apart, so it's kind of a difficult lane to play in terms of positioning, actually.
4-minute runes, Earthshaker rotating, Rubik rotating, and Rune spawning bottom. Aether Remnant catches
no
one.
Way.
Dissemblate.
No.
Oh, Magical's got it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Val's here, though. Careful.
Oh, he baited the fissure, actually. That's really nice.
He did.
That's a really good fissure, actually.
Yeah, that's going to force Magical the long way around. King R doesn't have any mana, so he's just here for emotional support and the weak Rubik right clicks. Aether Remnant catching Magical again. There's going to be the Fade Bolt, though, potentially saving him, and they are not going to have enough for the kill. Not the Magical at the end of the day. They do force all 3 bottle sips, and he's not really too healthy here, so Askel, big win there for him.
Yeah, Askel is just really good, honestly. I think the Fable did save him. I was just saying, how to analyze that? Askel is just amazing.
He's good. Ladan is good.
He missed no Aether Remnants. The Assimilates were on point. It's just
this allows him to go top. They know Ladan probably he's got to walk his ass out back up top lane. He does have mana, though, because he Clarity on his way up. So nice fissure there onto 2. Phantom. We're starting to see a little bit more Phantom usage as well in the lane. It's good damage. 200 damage.
A while ago, it used to be that Grimstroke used to go Stroke of Fate, Inkswell completely in the lane, and the Phantom was more for the mid game. But nowadays, we're seeing the Phantom damage really piled up. That's actually why the E-Blade build got styled, right?
Well, because Thompson, right?
Well, yeah, but you know what that started, right? The E-Blade on Grimstroke?
I do not.
The logic behind it was, actually...
Great fissure again.
Yeah, that was a really good fissure, dude. I think No Fear's dead. The last hit, there we go. No Fear's dead. Watson, is he also going to fall? Do you have any more spirits? Koval tanking the tower necessarily, but it's okay. Supernova gets the kill. That's worthwhile.
Actually, you say unnecessary. I think he needed to, though.
Because the body block. No, I agree.
No, not only that, but he also tanks the creep wave. Otherwise, Supernova's dead there, right? Because he's a melee hero, so he's got that damage block there.
And you have low armor on Phoenix. So that's a very good point.
So he had to do that. Otherwise, Phoenix dies, and now Phoenix with the urn feeling pretty happy.
Yeah. Anyway, the E-Blade combo, by the way, on Grimstroke, the reason why they started running that is that because you Phantom Embrace them and you E-Blade them and they can't hit the Phantom. And it's a very basic idea, but Thompson one day... Because I remember watching his stream
They did that in TI.
What?
That was the OG, remember? They did that with Pugna, though.
Yeah, they did that with Pugna, but there's a stream, like a really old stream of Thompson, where he actually figured this out. Like, he realizes it. Yeah, of course he knew it, but he realizes it. He's like, oh, wow, this is very strong. It's a very funny reaction. I don't know if anyone's watched that stream. It's like a relatively old stream. But that's why the whole E-Blade build. I think that's why Thompson buys E-Blade on everything, honestly. He's like, guys, E-Blade, they can't attack. That's so many combos.
Why does Mid one like going Boots of Travel on Midas on everything then?
I don't know, but did you see this Jug build?
I did. That's what I'm referencing.
It's insane, dude. It's a great build. People criticize it because it's unorthodox. I think it's so creative and so amazing.
We've got level 6 on Phoenix already. This is like
a
disastrous top lane right now for the Hustlers.
As I said, the lane is good for a Phoenix. He always has Supernova, so he's fine. As long as he throws the Spirit, Arc Warden cannot kill him in time.
Oh, that got him pretty close. They need one more. Oh, they force out the Supernova. They're going to try for this kill as well. We don't have Fissure. Yeah, he's... Oh, they did not. Oh, they tried to deny it. They also catch Ladon down
they're
bottom.
Gonna keep fighting there up top.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. It's Koval who's in trouble.
Oh, Ascol is here. Oh.
Comes in, kills the Grimstroke. Watson, the target now. Can Ascol do enough? Etherman's available. Dissimulate. Etherman catches the clone. He's going for the real one, though.
Oh, the Flux.
He's out of Astral Steps. The Flux is slowing him down considerably. Ascol just wants to reach Watson, but it's impossible. That Flux is too much slow. Uses the bottle charge to get the last bit of mana needed. Ladon is finally joining in. King R could be in trouble. Ladon with the decays makes King R a valuable target. And Telekinesis will pull back Ascol. He's not too deterred. Stroke of Fate. Now the help from the Phoenix. And he'll guarantee the kill on King R. But Watson, from some miracle, survives.
He does. Yeah, he's just simply too tanky. I think it's mostly due to the fact that we don't have too many points here in the Flux overall. So that's going to be the biggest reason for that. But a nice engagement there for IPG. They force Magical away as well, 1-0-1, but he does manage to get that kill. Yeah, you can deny Phoenix Supernova. It's a ward unit. There was a little bit of a Reddit post on that one recently as people were confused as to why Troll Warlord ulti will hit neutrals before a Supernova, and that's because you don't want Troll to be targeting wards in the middle of a fight, and Supernova is a ward. So yeah, they tried for the deny. Nice little cheeky move there. Would have been a little bit nicer than just taking the death there onto the Phoenix. Unfortunately, could not make that one happen. So Ascol and Magical then back to sparring in the mid lane. Actually, I say that, but looks like Ascol wants to go and farm. By the way, this is the new hot ward spot, guys. So in your pubs, check for this one.
Yeah. Very good. We've seen it a couple of times, actually, in this league particularly, haven't we?
Yeah, well, you see it in a lot, actually. I tend to notice it almost across every single region and almost at the upper and lower division level of play.
Yeah. It's been a very popular one.
I don't know where it started, but...
I'm wondering if the all the supports in Dota, like all the professional supports, look at big WhatsApp chat where they're like, guys, let's go to this hot new ward spot.
Oh, Rari looking for this kill onto Phonic. Will find it, but maybe at the cost of his own life. Gets the Phantom off, so avoids the Ren damage.
How much he's taking.
And Ascol is back. Yeah, he's got how many? He's just 1 point in the mana shield. Didn't even need to use the ulti here. Ascol looking to punish. Will find a second kill. Koval with the fissure is going to prevent retreat. There is no back, he says now to the Rubik, who will try and save himself by yeeting the Earthshaker away. Not going to work. 3 kills for IPG as they now take a small but notable 2K net worth lead here heading into the 10th minute of play.
So here what we saw is what we talked about in the draft, which is Toot as an Ember against a Dusa. You don't do anything. You just tickle her endlessly. And she doesn't care. She really did not care about your whole initiation. She actually was moving forward while the Ember was attacking her, which is insane to think about. Like there was no point where Medusa felt like her life was threatened at all. So that shows just the tankiness. That's how many points in Mana Shield to begin with?
Just one.
Just one. Like, oh my goodness, dude. That is just not allowed. That's why the Ember's going to have a hard time. This might be a game where Ember has to consider, oh, is Ladon dead? No. This is a game where Ember might have to consider going for, like, maybe Desolator build, honestly. Like the Americans do.
Like the Americans.
That's true. Rioya does this a lot. You know, a lot of like American players. CCMC doesn't do it very often, but a lot of North American players will do the Desolator build still to this day, and I think it's kind of effective in some situations. In this one, for example, where you're lacking damage and it also increases damage against Dusa, why not, right?
Yeah, I imagine Flux is going to be pretty damn good against the Dusa later on as well, because you got the core to core. We just need the time to get there. So, yeah, I agree. I think the Ember can build here to try and just delay the game or you know, have a little bit of power spike and be able to skirmish with his friends. Is going to do it's going to do this Hustlers lineup very great. It's going to be really impactful for them here. Phoenix going straight into the Veil of Discord for the offlaner build. They're going to look to try and push. That's the one weakness of this draft here for IPG. They don't really have such great tower push. They need to win early fights and then get the clean 10 seconds of tower push.
What are you even talking about? Look at this Phoenix. Look at him go. Oh my goodness, that tower.
Oh, wow.
It cannot take his fire spit.
Yeah, so anyway, down bottom, Phonic's going to take the tier 1 tower right now.
In a matter of seconds.
In a matter of a couple of seconds.
Compared to Phoenix.
Because he nukes the entire creep wave with basically one ability, especially when they've only been upgraded once. Meanwhile, back top, Supernova.
Honestly, respectable job, though.
So who?
To IPG?
Oh.
It's pretty decent. For a Phoenix Void Spirit? I know I was memeing, but like I genuinely mean this.
I mean, they push real fast, right? We've gone for the Resonant Pulse and Dissimulate, so he can nuke the wave just as fast or a little bit slower, really, than the Tidehunter, but generally speaking, I mean, if the Hustlers even just show up and park Tidehunter in front of the tower, they can't push the tower. That's the issue. They need to win a fight to be able to push, besides the free towers that you just seed.
Yeah, of course.
And this is actually going to be to the benefit, I believe, of the Hustlers, who now, you can see, they're hunting for the DOTA. They're looking to take her farm. They've voided her jungle. But IPG, they recognize this. They're going to be looking to create a little bit of space now as they're trying to sneak between the Tier 1, Tier 2. Dropping a ward there. King R might be scouted, as there's going to be the smoke breaking. They've stolen Dissimulate, but Rubik not able to get it off. And that means likely a Tier 1 here now, sieged up slowly but surely for IPG.
You know what's kind of bad is the lane in Arc Warden is actually really hurting Hustlers, because Arc Warden's tempo is similar to DOTA in the sense that you get like a small power spike around level 6. In the case of DOTA, it's level 7, right? You take advantage of that for a bit, you push and you put a lot of pressure as a carry, and then you proceed to create your own space and farm that, right? In this case, though, the DOTA is using her power spike, as you see her pushing with her team middle lane, but Arc Warden is not being able to use this at all because he just got cancelled in the lane. So it's very difficult for Hustlers to really regain their tempo. And DOTA could just outfarm the Arc Warden. They have a Tombstone available, but Ladon's still silenced. No time to use that Tombstone. Supernova used in the middle of this fight.
Right.
Not the best Supernova,
No,
but Stone Gaze will protect it, so it's okay. They did steal Stone Gaze, though, which is pretty great.
Yeah,
But Askel took the clone. We have a Ravage, but no mobility.
It's okay. We got the tower. IPG, they don't really want to fight here anymore. They were just here for the Tier 1 tower. They got it. The issue is, especially with the Stone Gaze, Hustlers can look, and still Ravage, of course, they can just look to push up right back up for the enemy Tier 1 tower, and I think Funnick's going to be setting himself up here. And that's why I use the phrase set up. It's very specific when I talk about, oh, their push is bad, they need to get a pick off. Because if Funnick is already in front of the Tier 1 tower, even with the kill onto the Rubik, I don't think they can push the tower. But because he has got a TP on in, and that takes a couple of seconds, and he's already in a bad position, because he's got, of course, no mobility whatsoever on the Tidehunter.
Yes.
Naturally, that's
because you usually don't until you need to be an initiator, which is usually the mid game, right?
Yep.
So that's why he's going for Vlad's first. Though in this case, to Funnick's credit, to some degree, if you actually Ravage here, and APGs are out right next to you, right? It's not a point-blank Ravage. They can Stone Gaze and Supernova in time and prevent your Ravage from being effective. So even if Funnick is there, he might just still die to that combo of spells, which is why I think he was not playing such a Timber saw Tide, essentially.
Yeah, we are super farmed as well on a couple of our IPG space. Like, we already have a Yule Scepter. They might try for this kill into Magical. No fear.
There's
He's
no way
hiding down the
you're
trees. Askel, he's confident, dude. Look at that. He even didn't get hit by the Searing Chains. 2/3 chance that he would, but didn't.
But you know what they say, confidence kills the rooster.
I've never heard that phrase before in my life.
Really?
100%.
Is that something that Spaniards say?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why would confidence kill a rooster?
Because roosters fight for each other for the dominance of the hen. And so if you're a really cocky rooster, then you get punished.
Didn't know that.
I don't know. You broke my brain there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just translating.
I've never heard that before. No, I've heard curiosity kills the cat, but I've never heard confidence kills the rooster.
Well, all animals are killed by something, right?
That's true. Ladon, level 6. Only the 1 point in the Tombstone, though, maximizing his soul rip here for the Deuce's lane, and so far it's paying off.
They're fighting in the high ground, I think. Yeah. And Ladon's like, can you take me with you, Phoenix?
No.
Can I ride on your back? Like the never-ending story.
They're gonna
fight.
fight.
Ladon's gonna survive.
Oh, wait,
No
that's
way.
stolen super. Okay, that's
Yeah,
what
stolen
this
Stone Gaze plus the Sun Ray. If you look into Rubik's eyes, you burn, turn into stone.
Kind of a counter synergy there. I mean, Sun Ray hasn't been pure damage in years, but back when it was pure damage and this hero was super balanced, that would be a killer move right there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Stone Gaze doesn't let you do that anymore. Supernova, the Ravage are going to try and fight off the back of this, preventing the Supernova from coming out, and they will, but they did get off at least the Stone Gaze. Echo Slam now from Koval, who just walks on in. They don't even need a follow-up vision. They've already gotten the kill. Actually, no, Ember's still alive. They are chasing him down, and Askel will be able to find him. Funnick, though, along with the stolen Sunray of King R, actually are enough to nuke down R Undying at last. It's a 3v4 now. Funnick on the other side of the fissure, though, might be easy pickings. Rari completely out of mana, however, has the 20 wand charges. Careful here. Inkswell coming on in. Rari using those wand charges did not get off the Mystic Snake. That's a stolen Mystic Snake from Rubik. Now he did, but he's not going to get the mana in time. Nuked down and killed as the double flux there proving to be quite effective from Watson.
That was a good initiation. We're starting to see that you just can't rely on that too much because Arc Warden is just a bit stronger than you right now. He just got his Maelstrom, which means he's ready to fight. DOTA's timings with early items are a bit more expensive than Arc Warden's because she likes to go for the Manta style, usually a Scotty. Arc Warden's build is Might as Maelstrom, right? So you're much more effective early, which is why this team fight goes their way. And of course, you can never underestimate the power of Ravage. And that team fight wasn't even, I wouldn't say well executed, it just wasn't even proper for IPG. You got no Supernova off, you got no Tombstone down either. So that was all because of the ghosts, of course, of the Grimstroke and the Ravage as well placed, which meant that, of course, IPG couldn't utilize their combo too effectively. So I think it was okay, all things considered, for IPG, considering how bad that team fight was proposed. But Hustlers is going to recover thanks to that.
Yeah, they are. Like you said, Watson already with the Maelstrom. He's going straight for the Mjolnir this game. Pardon me. Good item here versus the DOTA, of course. High attack speed. And pretty nice to have versus the zombies, actually, because they can proc off the Maelstrom. Aghanim Scepter queued up for our Askel Void Spirit. As Rari, he's really farmed, though. That's my concern. You still got that kill on him, which is real nice and all, but he's almost about a third of the way here through the Eye of Scotty. Probably even just about halfway. Ladon is going to die. Space created, though. He doesn't care. Interestingly enough, it's Ladon here. He has transitioned over to the position 5. They're giving Koval position 4 now.
Which is like last game, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's just last game. Yeah, I don't know if Koval is usually a position 5 player, position 4 player, and that's why they decide to play Clockwork in that weird off position, right? Last game. Uncertain. Funny is going for a pipe. I'm not a big fan of this item, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've said this a lot, but I think the pipe on offlaner really limits your item progression because it's not that useful of an item in general. And especially picking up a second item when you still don't have Blink Dagger on tied, not the biggest fan because I think that you need the Blink Dagger this game if you really want to catch up to the DOTA and straight up carol her.
Everyone wants to carol the DOTA these days, don't they? Ladon just running around the map.
What was that Reddit post for, huh?
He's got his.
What was that whole feedback comment about? Please stop abusing your co-caster.
I was moving on. You're the one who wanted to come back and talk about it a little bit more. Asgold here, though. He doesn't want to talk to these creeps. He's going to nuke them down immediately. He can curl them all there with the Resonant Pulse real easily. King R already has an Aether Lens, though. Not bad farm whatsoever here for our Rubik. Impactful Spell Steal. Again, this game, he's mainly looking for that Fissure. Although he's going to be looking to live and escape with his life. That's an even better Fissure that time around from Koval. They have the Yule Scepter set up for the Aether Remnant. Supernova as well. They really want this guy dead. They really want this guy dead because they know he's got a Remnant back. No, he actually didn't. So he's going to be able to run away now with the Haste Rune in his bottle. See you later, he says.
Awful, dude.
It does. They committed everything. That was the Blink Dagger.
Now you die.
They're going back in.
Yeah, you know they have no ultimates. They still have Ravage. Magical, though, might just die. He gets baited, but now with the Ravage, you might be able to bait out 2 kills. Can you at least kill the Urshiker? You will. Supernova nearby, dissimulate, a Voice of Spirit. That's really important, as No Fear will fall for this.
Oh, wow.
And the bait of the bait, apparently, as Funny tries to TP away. Do we have a Yule Scepter? We do not. So he's going to be able to make it out alive. However, IPG baited Magical to go back in, and then Askel was like, haha, my Astral Step deals damage.
It does. It does deal a lot of damage, and they try and turn with the Soulbind. Who's this? This is Rubik. They're just going to go for a quick, easy kill here onto him. Thank you very much. Soul Rip out from Ladon to get that one. Make sure that this guy's not farming. Cool Chris, 325 gold in the pocket. And look at that. Askel, Ladon, he digs up the bounty, and he's like, here, boy, come put it in your bottle, you know?
Yeah, but Askel, yeah, he bottled it. Why didn't you use the bottle? Anyway, that was a really good Charlie Shovel there. Really lucky for them. The extra bounty does start to pile
Scotty's up.
No way. Scotty and Montes, he's ready to fight
This is terrifying. Yeah, I mean...
What stops the DOTA now? Seriously.
I don't know.
What level is the Arc Warden? Like, I mean,
15.
15, so he's, what, 3 levels below the DOTA? Because she's already level 18. Wow, and that's what Might is, by the way.
DOTA's strong. They can't really fight, though. There's no Tombstone. There's no Supernova for a little bit. There's no Echo Slam. But they're still really strong, mind you. And we're nearly actually at the Aghanim Shard already for Koval. So he's making fantastic progress here, finding the farm. That Echo Slam, he eventually does get that assist gold onto the Ember Spirit, which is going to be big for him. As say goodbye to all of your attack speed with Fire Spirits, Mr. Roshan. I just want
Scotty as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to just highlight one issue there with the Phoenix offlane. By far and away, his biggest weakness is he's completely spell-based and item-based, but not so much this game because he's only got Urn as his active, and the Veil, I guess, but those are for his spells. because he, unlike a Tidehunter, who is also pretty reliant on his spells, he's at least got a passive, and he's a tanky boy, so he can just kind of still sit around in the middle of the team fights, tank some aggro, pardon me, even with all of his abilities on cooldown. And but the Phoenix, if he tries to tank the aggro as well, they're just going to curl him.
Yep.
Really? It's too dangerous.
Oh my goodness.
He's got not enough armor. You have not enough armor.
I think that's why the shard is particularly important for Phoenix to always have something to do in the team fights no matter what, right? Getting those extra spirits.
That's a really good point, actually. I completely forgot. In case
I would agree with you, but in case you have everything on cooldown, the shard would be amazing.
Yeah. You're right. In case you're not aware, I'm going to have it hovered now. 7-second cooldown on, every 7 seconds you spawn 1 Fire Spirit, maximum of 4.
Exactly.
After you pop out of a Supernova, you have all 5 Echo Slam in the mid lane there. You're going to go for Magical. This time it's a bit more effective. The Silence as well, thanks to the Aghanim Scepter.
There's still Ravage.
He's
just dying.
Ascald, yeah.
He's dying to the Sunray
Stolen
alone.
Fissure, first one of the game.
They're not following up with a Ravage, though. Funnick is alone. What are you going to do? Is he trying to guide them?
There's no damage.
Is this the Pied Piper, or is this just the man dying here? I'm not really sure. Funnick, stop with another Fissure. Immediately dispels it. Doesn't really matter.
Mark Warden's coming.
Another Fissure for the
fortify the
Rubik
wave.
with a Fate Bolt. Ravage still available. It is the Pied Piper. And now the Rats to the slaughter. Can they finish off any more heroes? They're waiting for the Aegis to pop. Ascald just goes back in. He's like, sure, I don't care.
We have
I'm not a
Supernova.
simple rat. I'm not a child.
No.
I will murder Funnick. A Supernova falls to the backline. No Fear cannot deal with this Medusa. And they even caught the Orc Warden thanks to the Earthshaker.
Yeah, that's a great fight. I mean, just proving to go, again, why it's really nice. I mean, Tidehunter uses like 3 spells there before he pops the Ravage. Well, I guess, to be honest, he uses 5 Anchor Smashes, which really makes him a tough cookie to crack. Nearly impossible to kill, you could say. But, yeah, and then he gets the Ravage off because he's got still full mana and it completely turns that around. I like the move there. They fortify the wave. Watson just TPs his double in because he's still not ready to fight himself. And a great play there. They get the Aegis out. Nice control as well coming through from King R, who completely locks down and kind of just owns Supernova in that fight. Zapped him down. Supernova, Icarus dove in, thinking that maybe I'm going to be able to get a good Supernova here. He was not. Instead, he ate a Fissure and the Fade Bolt immediately to follow up out from the Rubik. Yep. And that's another big problem here of the offlane Phoenix. Ideally, he just wants to zip in, get a nice egg off like somewhere here if everyone's fighting over here on the high ground, blah, 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 right? But as soon as he Icarus dives in, he's kind of just walking around aimlessly and just is such an easy kill for just about anyone in the game. It's a real weakness here, and well done by the Hustlers to exploit that as much as they have been.
Okay, Earthshaker, that's really good. That's a great soulbind. You have a Supernova in time, though. You do it on the Phoenix. Just use it immediately.
Tombstone's down.
There we go. The Supernova has been dropped with the Silence.
Wow.
They stop the Void Spirit, the Ember Spirit completely, as No Fear also falls. Stone Gaze to protect the Supernova, and that means Hustlers will not be able to win this team fight. And Rari, still probably the strongest hero in this game, soon to get MKP. That's going to deal with the bubbles on the Arc Warden, and that means Arc Warden will no longer have a beneficial matchup against DOTA.
Yeah, there's a big problem right now in that if IPG can set up their team fight, if they can dig their trenches, set out their battle plans, and do all that stuff, there's no way Hustlers can take a fight against them right now. Even with some great Stolen Fissure from King R, they're going to try to force him away from this tier 2. Rari just farming right in their face here. A little bit aggressive move. Watson's going to TP the double in. Grimstroke's coming as well. Ladon's still alive thanks to now the Soulbind. But there is a Ravage in 2 seconds here. They're just going to get this easy kill on a Supernova. Rari basically isolated completely alone. The Ravage now to catch him out as Watson's showing up himself properly, getting him the Zet right into the face there of Rari. Oh, the Shard balanced as hell because Enchant Totem's right here and stuns everyone here. Is not going to be enough there. And IPG, they stick around a little bit too long because, again, as I was saying, they're strong when they can get everything set up, but when they don't really have anything, they're quite easy to just run at. Especially with the Ravage.
They overextended there pretty hard, though. Because you knew that the Ravage timing was about to come off cooldown. You still fought there. You got the Rubik kill, but it wasn't really that worth it. The Tombstone wasn't even available for you like in that team fight, right? You didn't have anything at all in that team fight. I don't think that was the right call to make for IPG. But, you know, this is the kind of mistakes we're talking about sometimes, right? They make small mistakes that kind of shows their inconsistency. It's fine. I don't think it's going to lose you the game, but especially against stronger teams or when you're really losing in the draft or when your team fight is harder, then it becomes much more relevant.
I would be a little bit more critical, not of the mistake, but just because the late game matchup is not that good for you. I mean, unlike the bait lineups when we saw yesterday, where it's like, well, if they can get it to late game, they still have a good matchup, right? This game, it's not the case. That's my major concern.
That's a good point to be made. Though the MKB fixes a lot, especially if you go for a split shot, uses modifiers, and everything gets MKB.
Very true. Very true.
And those bubbles don't become as dangerous.
We're still getting some decent items though here on the Arc Warrior himself, though, right?
No, I still think that he's gonna beat her in the quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So you see the MKB even with the bubble. Watson messed up with the bubble there, though.
Magical catches Ladon.
Supernova.
That's probably going to... Well, Roshan, unfortunately, still a little bit off the table for now. Needing a couple more minutes to respawn in. So they're not going to get too much out of this one. But they will, basically, with that kill, allow themselves to get all their cooldowns ready to go again, and they'll be ready to fight again into this DOTA, into the Earthshaker, who's a little bit scarier now that he's got his shard and the Blink Dagger. Rubik is going for... Oh, he's got his shard already, so, again, he's just a better Earthshaker at this point.
That's why, I don't know if you noticed the fissures, but he's already been using the fissures for shard.
Yep.
In the last team fight, in the high ground, they already had that really impactful against DOTA particularly.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so it's very powerful. And Ember did go for a bit of a hybrid build, you know, I'm kind of utility, I'm kind of a carry build, but you're just so useless this game. That's one of the advantages that IPG does have. I think you have two really solid carries and a very good utility carry in the Phoenix, whereas IPG realistically has one core.
Smoke's going to break here for Koval. They don't actually know that anyone's nearby. And right now, No Fear very exposed. Now they know. No Fear looking to silence up one. He's going to catch Supernova, but he's going to be able to dodge the Phantom. That means Magical's got to commit his last Remnant to run away. So Hustlers, they do not want to fight right now, but they might have no choice, as they're going to be able to catch our Ember Spirit. Down to low ground he goes. Echo Slam committed as well. And there we go. Another kill onto Magical. The first one didn't work out so well. Second one was fantastic, and the third one, it's even better.
Yep. Nice job. That's a really important kill.
They smoke up again. They want more.
Magical's been incredibly annoying in these fights, always drawing aggro from you, and particularly making Askel just chase after him, so this is a very important kill.
Oh, no.
Funnick shows himself. He's not the ideal target, though. You'd really rather go for anything else than Funnick. Because you know he has Ravage, and they could just counter-initiate you.
Supernova, you like, madman.
Yeah, there's Phoenix. Bird's gotta fly. He's got the Sunray up, not going to hit Funnick too much. Funnick is in a bad position. They just want to make sure they isolate him from his teammates. He has the Ravage, perfectly calculated, and the Phoenix will be punished for it. No Supernova in time. Now Funnick, without the Ravage, still playing aggressively. They know they have the Arc Warden on the Phoenix Egg. They don't want to continue this aggression.
Nah, they can't. They've been blocked off now by the Fissure quite effectively. Watson continuing to push the mid lane here with the Arc Warden double. The clone is more accurate. And he's going for Scythe of Ice next, so just continuing to maximize his lockdown here, his effective team fight presence.
I love Scythe of Ice on Arc Warden. One of my favorite items. I hated when Arc Warden used to be playing with Rapiers. People stopped playing the complex Arc Warden. They required like 15 active items, which was the best way to play him, right?
Well, that was like the first iteration of Arc Warden, right?
That was like, the Dota 1 Arc
everyone's like, oh, I can just rat with this hero, and there's nothing enemies can do about
it. And the Necron's build and everything was so stupid. I'd much rather see Arc Wardens like build like this, right? The Hex, I think, is super valuable because, of course, you get 2 Hexes. It used to be a really, I wouldn't say old build.
Look at this.
Nowadays.
That's so powerful. Like they have just a full second to analyze and go, do we want to go in on this?
Yeah.
And there's absolutely, it costs nothing. Well, it costs 1,400 gold, but there's no risk.
I don't know who they gave Enchanted Quiver to, by the way, because the Void Spirit had it, but he just dropped it. So I don't know if it was... Nobody's going to use it? Wow, okay.
For now.
I think Enchanted Quiver is pretty strong, even if you just give it to Supernova, honestly. Just the extra damage.
He's going to live here. Just barely, but it'll live.
Yeah, so the Arc Warden... The Hex is valuable, of course, because any sort of catch on him is just doubled, essentially. It's really, really useful. And particularly now that the Arc Warden got buffed at level 25 with his talent, it makes his clone last much, much longer. It makes abilities like Hex particularly really, really valuable, because you have the cooldown reduction talent, plus that clone lasting longer talent, which means you get multiple Hexes off the clone in one single cast. And also, it means that Arc Warden is much more... Like, right now, you're much more required if you want to play Arc Warden well.
Supernova's like, I don't want to Icarus dive for you. I'm not giving you the satisfaction.
Right now, the clone is level 20. Not a big deal, right? But once Arc Warden hits level 25, you'll see that his usage of clones changes because you want the clones to last much longer. Because if you don't have a clone for a team fight, it's going to be a big, big deal for you. That's the whole point of the level 25 talent. You got buffed. If you're a good Arc Warden and you can keep him alive long enough, you're going to be much stronger.
What is... Okay, they're still fighting here. Rari, you madman. They actually get the kill down bottom as King R is going to show up. They're going to look to try and punish this engagement bottom, and they will get King R. Keeping our eyes here for now, though, because DOTA running up to the high ground does not care. Ravage up in a second here as Ladon with the Tombstone still alive. We do have Stone Gaze as well. This Tombstone really doing quite a number now, allowing Rari to just run right on a no fear. King R has respawned. He's back in the fight as well. Funnick doesn't really care about the zombies, as there's now the Soulbind. They do catch Magical, though. Oh, no. Wow, with the shard as well. Funnick, there's no way he's going to use Ravage now. There's absolutely no chance, or is there? Because now Watson, he's going to be running on over. Funnick lives just about forever. He's thinking about it, and they're going to make the call to go, but Ascol too fast on the BKB, and the Stone Gaze comes out as well. So that's going to neutralize one of the two clones. Funnick still alive, as that's a fast pick of the Echo Slam now, as they've caught the real Watson. See you later. Funnick still alive. Soon enough, he will die, surely, as there's a big old crit out from the Earthshaker to do him in.
Earthshaker really, truly acting like a courageous suitor there. Going through the arc ward and he says, you know, I know you hide behind a clone, but I want to see your true self. And then smacks him right in the face.
He does.
And
nice
that was
move.
a huge initiation from the Earthshaker. The Fissure already guaranteed the kill on Ember Spear, right? So then on top of that, getting the kill on Arc Warden with the Echo Slam. Oh my goodness, the impact of Cabal this game has been insane. I mean, mind you, just the hero, right? Cabal is a good player, but god damn, this Earthshaker is strong.
Yeah, he's definitely a very good hero, and yeah, I'm gonna probably play a couple of Earthshaker pubs tonight here. Just I've actually never bought the shard myself, so I've not been abusing it. But I suspect here at the rate that it's really showing us how good it is, I suspect it's not going to be as strong as it is, or in this iteration, for much longer, guys. So get your free MMR in while you can. You remember when we did Life Stealer position 5 with Ags, because that was also a free win. It feels just as strong as that, to be honest. And the fact that it's still in the game is really, really damn amazing. We'll take a look here. As Rubik now still continuing to try and finish off this Aghanim Scepter. He had to buy it back, so that's going to set back his progress by a bit. Watson, after his death as well, is now going to go back for the BKB. He's got enough money for one of the components, so still needs about another 3,400 gold to go. They're setting up for a kill bottom, though. Magical is here. Rari doesn't really care, though. Rari runs right up to where that Remnant's waiting, just to be certain he can get any damage he can.
Right now with Daedalus and MKB, and soon to hit level 25, I think this is the game where you don't need intelligence at all.
I agree.
You're already tanky enough. You have some help from your team as well, healing you up.
Yeah.
And because you went for the stats build as well, to some degree with Scotty Manta, then the Phoenix Sunray heals you even more. Right?
Good amount of healing, actually, because, of course, the mech...
the Soul Rip as well.
The Soul Rip, yeah, he might even decide to go for the Locket a little bit later.
I know that's what you were thinking about when you were hovering about that.
I like it. I like the Locket. I think it's a lot better of an item now, especially because of the aura it gives with the Fluffy Hat. 3 HP regen?
Yes, it's good.
Bad.
I agree. It's not a bad item, especially if your hero's like undying. Which is like a good version of Enchantress, where you're useless after the lane, but you do have some small utility.
At least you're tanky.
At least you're tanky. You're happy to die for your hero, right? You don't really care about your own Magic Wand charges.
Nah. Medallion as well is going to be completed. I think that's Supernovas it is. So he's really quite just a 4 protect 1 here with Ascol on the Void Spirit to look for whoever he can. Oh, nice. He's going to be going for the build, the Aghanim Shard into the 25 talent here, I'd imagine, for the December.
That's amazing. I think that's one of the best... little combinations. When they added the shard, I was like, well, I don't see the point of the shard. I was like, oh, it's okay, more circles, fine. But now that I see with the talent, right? That's where the real
more circles.
I mean, that's what it does, right?
That's literally what it does. Yeah, Supernova using the Yule Scepter aggressively to make sure that he's going to get the bounty and 110 gold. I mean, that's a big swing. So well worth the whatever 50 mana cost, 175 mana cost it is actually for the Yule's active.
He's been a very solid utility core this game. The Veil to boost his damage. The Yule's was a great pickup. It's kind of saved him a lot of times. I think honestly, both offlaners this game has been really impactful. Both Funnick and Supernova. But I'd say that in the case of Hustlers, they have a much weaker mid laner. Ascol has done much more than Magical this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, that goes back to the Emperor just having no real objective here.
That's true. And this game in a 4 protect 1, all Ascol needs to do is kind of just run interference, really. That's all he wants to do. If he can lock down a Rubik, make sure that they don't get the steal on the Fissure.
Look at that, more circles.
More circles. Yeah. And he's close to 25. They should really not fight until he's 25, though, in my opinion.
It's a huge power spike, yeah. DOTA just hit level 25, though.
She did. Yeah, she went for the split attack.
Yeah, modifiers. Yeah, and Funnick is like, okay. He has his own Solar Crest and the enemy Solar Crest. Yeah, no chance.
Nearly 25 now. So close. This will be the tier 2 tower down. Unfortunately, Funnick That's how you play the Tidehunter in the first 15, 20 minutes in the game, but when they actually have damage for you, it's a little bit too spicy of a place to be playing.
I'd argue he's been playing a really solid game of just really pushing the envelope as much as possible.
Oh, 100%.
But since he's the only one that's been doing this, it's been really difficult. They've caught Magical every time.
Oh, wow. They caught 3 heroes there, by the way, with the Shard. Hex now number 1 onto Ascald. Hex number 2, but he's going to get the Force Staff to help him out from his buddies. Tombstone.
Oh, it's true. Soulbind will do double Hex as well.
Yep, it's going to make it just about impossible, this Tombstone. Ascald looking for more. They caught Rubik as well. King R, see you later. There's the stun.
Someone nerf this hero. That Fissure has so much range as well. Did he go for the Fissure range talent?
Earthshaker? Yeah.
Yes, he just did. There we go. That's why. Strongest talent in the game now after the Shard. Magical can barely survive 2 hits from Rari. We do still have Ravage on Phonic, though.
Tombstone's timing out now as well, so it's potentially them able to go in here.
Watson could just die to the Mystic Snake.
Oh,
no,
lots of mana there. He caught 4 heroes. It's going to be full mana for DOTA here pretty much.
My goodness, that Mystic Snake.
They kind of messed up there. They got a little bit too close to it.
And now Funny just wants to walk in. He's like, guys, I just want to Ravage, but he didn't go for the Blink because he's more of a utility hero right now. So that's why he's not. He just needs to wait for them to overextend, ideally.
Yeah, Ladon as well, quite a tanky last, just out in front. The ulti's going to end, but Medusa doesn't seem to care there. That is Flesh Golem. Rari's might just go for more. Look at this. He's taking the risky path. That might actually be a little bit too risky for him.
It's not the risky path, it's the bait path, son.
Maybe it is.
He's baiting them out.
Ladon's like, me too, thanks. And Arc Warrior's like, nope, not for you. Gets the Tombstone off. Number 2 of the fight, though. Phonic now walking up. There's going to be the Stone Gaze if they clear the clone. Magical. He got off the BKB, but he looked into the eyes of the DOTA, and now he's dead for a full minute. Doesn't have the buyback. Ravage as well will come through as a Supernova from Supernova is going to now expire. Diving underneath the tier 4 tower.
Nice
There's the Echo for Koval, and they're setting up. He even Force Staffs the Watson to his death. And GG? It's a 2-0 again. We've not had many 2-0s overall, but I mean IPG, they look so good here.
Thank God he Force Staffed the Watson there. Anyway, that was
the
Watson. Nobody expects that. That was a really good game by IPG. I think you can blame Hustlers, but we even noticed in the draft, it was like, yeah, the core-to-core is kind of beneficial for Arc Warden for a while, but it's not impossible for DOTA. IPG played a much better Game 1, and I'd say that Game 1, if anything, was a bigger quote-unquote outdraft. There was much more outplay potential from Hustlers than Game 2. And Game 2, I did think that IPG had a good enough draft to play because their team fight was much superior, and that a really solid combo to make the Ravage useless. I gotta give it to Phonic, though. I think Phonic played an incredible game on Tidehunter. Really solid.
I totally agree. I don't want anyone to think my last little comment at him was like me being snide, because I think
nobody. Well, Chad will think that no matter what.
Look how much damage he absorbed this game. 65k.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to quote that stat, but obviously if you notice the Ravages he sent out as well, right? If you realize that he was also kind of really holding on to those Ravages for maximum efficiency, because this was a very difficult game for you to play as a Tidehunter, as we mentioned earlier. Supernova plus Stone Gaze, you throw Ravage, and they can just counter-initiate you without you doing anything.
And that's not even just, and then once the BKBs come out, it's what do you do? Unfortunately, that's kind of the reality of the hero, especially when you don't play in this initiator role and you just look to be the frontliner tank. But Phonic, I mean, he really played that role perfectly. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the farm required for Watson because Rari, he was farming out of the gates. I think we saw a minute 20, Scotty and Manta style. Yep. Like, it was a ridiculous amount of farm here for Rari. Very well played to IPG. They get the 2-0, and that'll be the end of our day here already.
That will be the end of our day as we close this game 2-0. The games went from 2-1s, which were started in the beginning of the league, to just 2-0s now in the past 2 days, as teams are starting to get to know each other and starting to know how to play against each other. And also, some teams like Hustlers are looking a bit weaker as the tournament goes on.
They are. To me, I'm getting a lot of. Do you remember when Mushi started playing again? He founded IO Esports. They did the tri-core lineup for a while, and they did so well in the first open qualifiers, and then when they got to closed qualifiers and started playing more against like your 496s, your up and coming but established rosters that have been playing together for like 6 to 9 months, they kind of just got demolished. To me, I'm getting really similar vibes here to the Hustlers, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's starting to be that like teams like IPG or teams like VPP, which from the get-go define their own style. You can tell they just had to really iron out the chinks in their armor, right? Whereas in the case of Hustlers, the kinks or the chinks?
Kinks.
Kinks in their armor.
Kinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had to iron out the kinks in their their armor. Whereas in the case of Hustlers, they didn't really have a defined style in the beginning of the league, right? And as the league went on, they weren't ironing out anything. They weren't fixing out the details. They're just still trying to find a style. Similar with Bait, right? They didn't have the diversity that IPG and VVP showed out. So now as the league progresses, those teams that started out pretty nicely with a clear idea of Dota are starting to come up forward, and those that still struggle to find a very clear cohesion are starting to fall behind.
Yeah, that's actually that seems generally speaking pretty accurate. And then the entire time we've got our our top 2, top 3 teams that have been pretty stable. I mean, as I recall, Windstrike, that iteration of the roster has been, yes, under different names for a couple different times, but I mean, still they're just proving to just keep playing their Dota. They figure out other people, and they go, okay, we'll play our game. And I like the Bait example you drew to as well, because it seems like for Bait, as they're now 1-4, and actually the Hustlers will join them now at this record, like you said, when it really came down under the combat stress, they went back to the same old strategy of, hey, let's run late game RDO, even 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So.
And when you go into these kind of comfort picks that are very limiting, that haven't worked for you before, you're struggling. Well, it seems like IPG and VVP are like flowers blooming. You know, they're starting out with different styles altogether.
And PuckChamp as well. I hope this Gambit now second roster is going to stick together too. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate here that some of the older names they've not really got it together yet here. But hey, at the other side of that coin, very shiny coin here for IPG. I mean, they're looking real good. It's new blood, new names to the scene, and I love it. Give me more.
Yeah, they played a fantastic game, and Cobalt, happy to see him as well from casting him in genuinely a tier 3 tournament. We can say